about the shooting that killed 3 of the school's football players and the suspect, Christopher Darnell Jones Jr., who was also a student.
Mr. Jones came to the attention of the University of Virginia's threat assessment team in the fall of 2022.
When he was handed a note.
We just received information the suspect is in custody.
The shelter-in-place order for students has been lifted.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. President Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping today met at the G20 summit in Bali, Indonesia.
I found him the way he's always been, direct and straightforward. And do I think he's willing to compromise?
Yep.
Nope.
Happy Monday! I smell the water sweet soap lotion.
That's me.
Watersweetssoap.com. Type in Annie. Save 10%. You went there and got a free gift this weekend.
I got a free gift. I got a really nice free gift. So when you go to Water Sweets, they have the bars, but then in bags they put the cutoffs from the bars, and they hooked me up with some of these cutoffs of some of these different ones.
Awesome.
Have you tried any of them yet?
One of them is one that I've already had, which was a shave bar, so it was awesome not to have to get another shave bar. And then I think it's the bourbon tobacco one. They gave me some cutoffs from that, which that was one of my favorites. And then they've got 2 new seasonal flavors out there for me.
How do they taste?
Don't eat it.
Like soap. It's not edible.
All right.
But they smell great.
Today's YouTube poll is asking, should we be having the Trump-DeSantis 2024 conversation yet? Yes. Yes, but after we get results from Georgia, or no?
Yeah, so that's up to you guys to answer. We want to know how you feel, because that might guide how we direct our show from here on out.
Yeah.
We all have thoughts and feelings on that. We'll probably share our thoughts and feelings on it coming up, but really what's important
Maybe
is
not.
What you guys think.
We've been having that conversation off the air quite a bit. I don't know how much we're going to discuss on the air yet. We'll see.
At 1:05, Steve Moore will be joining us. Can't wait to hear what he says about our economy. And we also haven't talked to him since the midterms, so it'll be good to meet up with him again. And do you want to say who's in
at
125?
So 125, we're going to have Kevin Schmidt on the phone. You guys remember Kevin Schmidt? Kevin Schmidt for King?
Yep.
Kevin Schmidt was lied about by LaToya Greenwood, but guess who won his election? Kevin Schmidt, my newest state representative. So I'm super excited about that.
Won by 6 points.
6 points.
100% of precincts reporting.
Wow.
LaToya Greenwood has not conceded yet.
She's a sour loser.
Hopefully she ends up being the loser.
I didn't know what you were going to say.
Well, how 100% have reported? 100% have reported. I think we need to talk about that. I just think that needs to be out there in public for everybody.
Well, that's why we're having Kevin Schmidt on today at 1:25, so that Brad can have the resolution he needs.
Yes, I need that. I need it to be loud so that everybody looks at it and goes, if something happens.
I believe we are going to have a diamond in the rough at some point today in the show.
2 o'clock hour.
2 o'clock hour. That's good. So we can be looking forward to hearing a good news story. There's been a lot of heavy news recently, so I'm going to bring you guys a good positive one. Yay.
Ryan Wiggins is out today. He's taking a day off.
Yeah, he's gonna take the day off. Hopefully he's back tomorrow, but we'll see. We just want him to take the time that he needs to get to be Ryan Wiggins again. So don't look at me like that.
Don't look at me like that. Don't say that. Look at me. No.
We all looked at each other. We were like, it is freezing in the studio.
That's why I wore layers today. Is the Wi-Fi suck right now?
There's a lot of things that are.
We don't need to go through the list, but is Wi-Fi on the list?
We've gone off air 4 times since I've been here today.
Okay.
Engineers have been in here, so hopefully.
Should this be airing right now?
Probably not.
Okay. Well, let radio show program. Please go vote in today's YouTube live chat poll. What was it again, Hannah? One more time.
Should we be having the Trump-DeSantis 2024 discussion yet? Yes. Yes, but after the Georgia runoff, or no? So vote and leave a comment for us and the future.
All right. We're going to turn you over to the radio show. We're going to start here in 20 seconds, apparently, I think.
That's Becco.com.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
In addition to getting stuff done, it's stopping bad things from happening. So people can't lose sight of the fact that even by the smallest of margins, a Republican-controlled House of Representatives provides a tremendous firewall against the worst legislative intentions of the Biden administration. Things like the Inflation Reduction Act won't happen, can't happen with a Republican-controlled House. So there was really good news on Tuesday night with respect to wresting control there.
So there is the former director of national intelligence, John Radcliffe, saying that even if it's just a squeaked by margin of majority, a Republican-controlled House is huge. Man, get to it already, don't you think? Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Monday. Happy that you're here with us, and I'm looking right now at the election results on the Fox News website, and we still don't know who we are. We are in the next week of counting votes. Wow. Unbelievable, but is it? That's where it becomes a very frustrating endeavor for a lot of people who care deeply about what is going to materialize. Here's what I've gathered over the weekend, and I am watching and waiting to see that number that sits at 212 Republicans in the House right now, watching and waiting to see it tick up to 218. 6 more seats. They need 6 of the 19 House races that have not been called yet to retain majority of the House of Representatives. 6 of the 19 seats that are left. Last night when I went to bed, they said that they were leading in 9 of those seats, some of them in California. So we hold our breath. If the Republicans take the majority in the House of Representatives, I'll remind you that the Democrats had a super slim majority in the last 2 years, the previous Congress, the one that we're wrapping up right now. They sure got a lot done with a slim majority, didn't they? That's why it's important that we take the majority now. So let's talk about the news in the Senate. Nevada ends up going to Cortez Masto, 50 Democrats in the Senate, 49 Republicans, and a Raphael Warnock, Herschel Walker question to answer on December 6th in Georgia. A lot hangs in the balance there. The Democrats will, if the Republicans win that seat and we have 50-50, that's what we have right now. If the Democrats win that seat with Raphael Warnock, all of a sudden Joe Manchin is a lot less important to a lot of the things that the Democrats want to end up doing. Kyrsten Sinema, same. If they can persuade one and not the other, it doesn't matter because they have a seat to spare. If the Republicans have even the slimmest of majorities with 218 people representing the Republican Party in the House of Representatives, all of that stuff in the Senate means a lot less. There are still certainly many things that a Senate can do, including approving judges, that is pretty much gone by the wayside now because the Democrats will control at least the slimmest of majorities with the tiebreaker of Kamala Harris as the vice president in the Senate. A lot of people in the Republican Party right now are angry and blaming. Is now a good time to do this? I think now is a great time to be taking some notes, putting some things down, some thoughts and some feelings down, and marking this moment after a non-red wave. What an absolute bummer to come out and talk about the non-red wave. Worked through it last week. There was a lot of positivity, potential positivity surrounding one of the two Senate races in Arizona and in Nevada. Both of those, as the votes continued to be counted, just fell by the wayside for Republicans and into the majority for the Democrats. That's a disappointment. But we still have the House, and that still matters. That's still a point of positivity for the Republicans, should they be able to close it. How do you feel about time passing on and votes still being counted? Not great? Well, here's the deal, folks. The states where votes can continue to be cast, votes can continue to be counted for such a long time after Election Day, no Republican is going to be able to handily win in these states if Republicans don't change the name of their game going into the election. Throw your hands up in the air. Throw a fit about it not being Election Day and see how much that changes what happens in 2 years. It's not going to change a dang thing. The way that Democrat machines operate is pre-election, is moving into the communities to people who have absolutely no inclination whatsoever to vote, would not go vote on Election Day if that meant that they had to work it into their schedule and it was inconvenient to them. They don't care about the issues in a way that pushes them into a line to vote at the polls. They don't care about Election Day the way you do. But what the Democrat Party has done in many of these different states is figured out a way to make them care enough to cast a ballot because it's too easy not to. This is what the Democrat Party does. They figured it out. And the Republicans are disgusted by it. Super awesome. How many votes did disgust get you this year? How many different districts were lost to Democrats because Democrats worked so hard to get the early vote out, to get ballots in the hands of people who wouldn't potentially be voting anyway? But since they make 1, 2, 3, 4 different contacts with these low information voters, and since they contact these people and make it so simple to fill out their ballot, even submit the ballot for them potentially, they vote. Folks, the Republicans have lost the election before Election Day even occurs. And if you don't like it, you're going to have to figure out how to win in this way with these terms and these rules that are legal in the states that this is being implemented in. You're going to have to decide to suit up and strap in and beat them at their own game so that you can change the rules and the laws to be your own. That's how this works. COVID was a gift to people who wanted to expand elections. There was a reason why they were able to expand the way people vote to keep people from standing next, 6 feet of distance and wanting to limit capacity in different places. You can't have both of those things and not suppress voter turnout. So many different states said, this is the moment. This is the time. You need to make sure that we use this as an opportunity to change the laws, and they did. And if they've effectively changed the laws in just the right places, you don't have to change them in every state. Remember, states are governed, or elections are governed by the individual states. Of course, the left wants to federalize it. Why? So that they can make it all the way that they're doing it in these particular states. But they have done what they need to do in the places where they could get it done to get the laws changed because it changes the electoral map. You'll notice that the same states that took a long time to count votes in 2020 are taking a long time to count votes now. That doesn't mean that it's illegal for them to be counting votes this long, but I understand why it causes your eyebrow to go up a little bit when you're watching the results roll in. And understanding the amount of votes that are submitted and the ways with which the Democrat machine has lawfully created a system to collect these votes before Election Day, Republicans, you're going to be whining the same complaint every single election if you don't change your game plan. You want to beat them at the ballot box? You're going to have to beat them before the ballot boxes are open. You're going to have to acknowledge what is and figure out a way to effectively strategize against what the Democrats have successfully built and created. Whether you like it or not does not change the rules and the laws in the states that have made this type of voting legal. I think it's time that Republicans, on the whole, take a good, long, hard look at who we are and what we stand for. And the exciting thing, the introspection that I've participated in the last probably week, but mostly this past weekend, because I admittedly put up some Christmas decorations yesterday. Leave me alone. It made me happy, and I am okay with that. But putting up these Christmas decorations and spending time with my family, which is something that throughout a weekend I have not been able to do for a very long time, just spend time with my kids and with my husband and get a lot of things done around the house. I could not help but keep my mind from wandering off on the focus of what I was intending to do, which is to spend time with my family and do something that made me happy. And the reason it makes me happy is because it makes my kids happy, and watching my kids be happy makes me happy. I couldn't help but allow my mind to wander off into why did the Republicans miss the red wave? And I think that the answer is Republican voters vote Republican. Democrat voters are going to vote Democrat. And we still are way too invested in voting against the scary thing on the other side. And no party is making the case to cross over. No party is effectively going out and saying and cutting through all of the noise. It doesn't mean that there's not an effort being made, but it's not working. The message to voters, not to Republicans, not to turn out the base on the Republican side or for the Democrats to turn out the base on the Democrat side. Republicans are going to say, generally speaking, those issues for Republicans are they're going to take away your guns and they're also going to raise your taxes. And maybe we need to save the babies, a pro-life message. That is something that you do to really, really goose the base to show up and vote on Election Day. The Democrats will go out and say they're going to take away your right to control your body. They're going to continue to prop up the elite and squash down you, the average guy. This is the type of thing that the left will use to turn out their base. The truth is that none of those messages appeal to a broader audience, and I think some of those messages are growing tired to the base. Abortion is certainly an issue that has grown tired for the broad Republican tent. And I am incredibly, emphatically, unapologetically pro-life. I think that God creates life, and I think that we are not to take it away. But I look at the issue of abortion, and as much as the left wants to make it the priority for so many people to vote, and as somebody who myself is Republican and conservative and pro-life, I'm wondering how in a state like Illinois, how does one run on the issue of abortion and making it illegal in the state of Illinois? Or limiting it in the state of Illinois, maybe the way Missouri has effectively implemented a heartbeat law. How does somebody who wants to effectively change the law of the land in Illinois get elected with that platform to do so? That's a bit of a catch-22, a chicken and the egg kind of a scenario that I don't know actually materializes in anything that ends up being productive for those babies whose lives are being taken in the state of Illinois. So you got to ask yourself this question. You have to say to yourself, if I'm going to run for office on an unapologetically pro-life agenda, if I'm going to make sure that everybody understands that abortion takes the life of the unborn, and I am going to push and push and push until abortion is illegal in all of Illinois, if you never get the power to do that, is that the message that you should continue to push? Is that an effective way to save the lives of those babies? I'm not so sure that it is. I'm not so sure that prioritizing that issue from a legislative standpoint is the way to effectively change the thing that you are setting out to change. And here's the big question, folks. And I'm using abortion as a foundation that I want you to consider with other similar issues and passions that people have that they take with them to the ballot box. In Illinois, is government the only way that we can stop abortions from happening? Is Republicans in office the only way that we can help women choose life? Is it an excuse after Republicans, on the whole, don't win in the state of Illinois? Is it an excuse to say, well, Illinois just votes for Democrats, I guess we're just going to be having abortions. You can come here. You don't even have to tell your parents if you're underage. Abortion destination, Illinois. Is it okay to sit here and say, we're never going to be able to outlaw abortion in Illinois? If Roe v. Wade is overturned and it's the law of the land in the state, it's the legislator and the governor's decision as to how that law is going to be implemented here in Illinois, is it okay to sit by and just throw your hands up in the air and be disgusted by the people in Springfield, be disgusted by the governor who's in Chicago because he doesn't go to Springfield? Is it okay to just sit by and say, I voted for the other guy, I voted for the other girl, my morals are intact? It's not. And it's the great irony of all of this to look at all of the people who are hurting right now, the people who are hungry, the people who are cold, the people who don't even have a right to life. It's the great irony to look at that as a political conservative and say, well, I voted for the other guy. Is there anything that can be done that doesn't have to wait for the slough of government to get its wheels in motion in a state like Illinois or in a country that is run by Joe Biden and right now Democrats in the House and the Senate? Is there anything that real, true, honest, small government conservatives can do to say, forget about the government? Maybe we could do something on our own. I think the message for political conservatives is to no longer prioritize the idea that abortion should be illegal. It's to prioritize the idea that abortion is unthinkable. And the real message behind the pro-life cause has to be, we want to help you choose life. And we don't need to wait for government to do that. People on the right side of this issue care about the woman. Yes, we care about the child. We care about the child being born. We care about the child's life. We care about the woman's life. How are we helping in this issue? I don't think that the Republican Party can afford to prioritize this as a legislative issue, because it will only be a potential spoil of a victory for people who choose to vote in a way that is in their own interests, where we can move into a common sense, middle of the road, moderate legislative agenda on this issue. Because, folks, the people who are pro-choice, who are not pro-abortion, do not want third trimester abortions. I don't think they want second trimester abortions. There is common ground on this issue that we do need to meet legislatively, but we will never, ever in this climate get there. Because the capital T, they, the ruling class, the elite in the Democrat and Republican Party, won't want us to. So in the meantime, we will have to be the big boys and the big girls in the room. And we will have to show that while there is moderate ground from both sides of the aisle to achieve on this issue, that the people who are there who freely have the choice to make, that there are people who love them, who are not judging them, who are not shaming them, who want to help them choose life. It's not a political issue. It doesn't have to be a religious issue. It's a moral issue. And if conservatives and Republicans want to continue to make this a ballot box voting issue, they will never be put into the position to make a difference. Conservatives need to not wait on government to solve problems. That's not what conservatives do. Step up to the plate and make a difference. What's the conservative message on the whole? Well, I'm going to talk to you about that when we come back here on the Annie Frey Show. Stick around. We have Steve Moore and Kevin Schmidt in the 1 o'clock hour. And when we return, I'm going to tell you about the YouTube live chat poll. You can go vote right now on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. I'll lay it on you in just a minute when we return.
So show me family.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
97.1 FM Talk is embracing the spirit of giving to support the Tree of Hope at SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, and we need your help. Funds raised help the hospital offer programs not covered by insurance, but so necessary to a child's recovery. Most importantly, all children at Cardinal Glennon receive the best care, regardless of their family's ability to pay. Thank you for supporting Cardinal Glennon. Please make your donations to the Tree of Hope today at 971talk.com/Cardinal Glennon or text the word HOPE to 20357.
I want to alert you to an event coming up December 15th. It's a little bit of ways away, but it's a great night to put on your schedule, gentlemen. At the Diamond Shop, it's their Men's Panic Night, and you can go to the Diamond Shop on December 15th, peruse your loved one's wish list, and make a purchase. That is what the Diamond Shop does to support the men who are looking to buy something incredibly special for their loved one, but they want to make sure they get the right thing, especially if you're making a decent investment in it. Now, ladies, you can go to the website at thediamondshop.net, thediamondshop.net, become a VIP, but you can also make a wish list right there of things that you would love to have, and then maybe something will show up under the Christmas tree for you after that Men's Panic Night when you gentlemen who are smart and savvy go and make your purchase at the Diamond Shop in Clayton. They've been there since 1910. They offer 6 months same as cash as well, with great opportunities to save on different types of merchandise. You can see it all right there online. Women, gentlemen, anybody who's looking to buy something nice or to get something nice from the Diamond Shop, go make your wish list at thediamondshop.net.
Congress has authorized trillions in new spending, along with doubling the size of the IRS agency in just the last few months. Do you think that is by accident? No, it is with a purpose, to go after small businesses, employees, and individuals who have not filed or paid their taxes. If this is you, don't panic, just call. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee which includes costs and expenses that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120. Or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You know, the heat doesn't matter. The rain doesn't matter. When it gets cold in a few months, the snow and sleet won't matter to the outside of my house because I have Rhino Shield. You've heard me say that before, but I'm just telling you, 15 years now, 15 years ago, before I was on this radio station, that's a long time ago, I signed up for Rhino Shield. Darren came over. He showed me this great product. I'm like, why would I worry about painting every couple of years when I could do this? And I did it, and I'm just as happy today as I was the day that I made that decision all those years ago. And I've still got 10 years left on a 25-year warranty. Think about that. How many products can you buy where you get that kind of guarantee? Call Darren and let him come over and give you a free estimate. If you're thinking about painting, stop. Put Rhino Shield on instead. 877-25-RHINO is the phone number. Still plenty of time to get scheduled for this summer, or go online to find out more at 877-25rhino.com.
Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Find the car you want, new or used. Get it at Clement, get pre-approved. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. ClementAutoGroup.com.
I'm Eric Robert with Stifel. The economy is always changing, but what does it mean for your investments? Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Bob Stockdale during On the Money, Saturday mornings from 11 until noon on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
You can support our local first responders by getting an ATF raffle ticket. Go to 971talk.com/Cox to help Responder Rescue and maybe win some great alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and food prizes. That's 971talk.com/Cox.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Don't wait for another. Falling, he goes, and he cries all night. And slowly he thinks, can't wait for another. Tearing his soul, he screams inside. He says, I'm only while I've gone away, only. Every single day lonely. Well, I can't be so strong. Why don't you let me go? I've been in weakness and I'm hungry. That's why I've gone away only. Every single day lonely. Well, I can't run away. Why don't you let me go? Say I know.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy to be with you this Monday afternoon. It's a beautiful day outside. It's cold. I don't know about this cold weather. Man, I like the cold when I can stay inside. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I don't like it at all.
Leading up to Christmas, I'm okay with it.
I like snow. Don't get me wrong.
Didn't get the snow.
I know. I noticed that when I went up to Water Suites.
Not a bit.
We were dry. We had 5 inches in our backyard.
It's unbelievable.
Like, my wife woke me up when she gasped, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "What's going on?"
Totally.
And she's like, "We got snow." And so I didn't get out of bed. I was like, "Oh, snow." So I'm thinking of dusting.
No.
It's 5 inches of snow, and so I'm like, I wake up and it's like, I don't know, 9 o'clock when I finally look out the window.
Is there still snow on the ground right now?
There's a little bit in the shadows at my house.
I mean, there are winters where you'll go the whole winter without getting a snow like that.
Yeah, that was a good snow.
Didn't get any of it.
I'm sorry. But yeah, I went up to Water Sweet Slope, and as we're up in Edwardsville, we're kind of looking around. We're like, there's no snow on the ground.
I woke up. You guys sent a message to the show group DM that we have, and you're like, didn't have snow on my bingo card. I don't know who put that. You? Mm-hmm. And I was like, what? and I saw the picture, and I'm like, who's snow? And I looked out my window. I'm like, is this possible that this happened at your house and not at mine? And I think it got, because I live up a little bit more in like northern Madison County, and it was not there.
I looked at the line afterwards, and it was like the storm and the snow line followed is it 255 that goes north?
Yeah.
And kind of follows along that and then went east. So, yeah, it skipped you guys all together.
In the midst of this weekend of thinking about what I'm, like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm just waiting to find out, do the Republicans have the majority? They're acting like they do. The Democrats are not acting like they don't. Show me the money. Show me the numbers. I need to see the specifics here, and it needs to be finalized because I don't trust anything until like probably 2 weeks after it's been declared.
Right.
Like once it's been established and nobody is arguing about it anymore. And it's not a matter of anything other than I just don't want to get down one path and somebody like, oh, nope, wait a second, come back here. I'm just going to wait. I think that if anybody's paid any attention, we know to wait to find out what the final results are. Kevin Schmidt's going to be on with us at 1:25. Kevin Schmidt was running in the 114th Illinois State House District, and he won. He beat LaToya Greenwood. What is that? Wow. And I've said to him like 3 times, she's probably getting offended. I'm like, so you're sure you won? Like, this is the district that always comes in at, right before the stroke of midnight. It's like, oh, about these ballots. And then they have some more that come out of East St. Louis, and he won by 6 points. AP called it.
That's a shellacking.
It's fantastic. We're going to talk to him at 125. And I'm going to ask him again at 125. So you're sure you won? He told me that LaToya Greenwood has not conceded to him yet. So I don't... it is what it is.
She's Republican, right?
Huh?
She's a Republican, right?
She's a Democrat.
She's denying the results of the election.
No, absolutely not. So we're going to talk to him. I said this last week. And Brad, I continue to give you credit for making this point. If in June of this year, when Roe v. Wade was overturned, somebody would have come to us and said, "Listen, the Republicans are going to take the House. They're going to lose a seat in the Senate, but the speakership is going to be taken away from Nancy Pelosi." At the time when we were talking about it last week, we were saying the possibility still existed, because it did, that the Republicans would take the Senate. You'd have felt really good about that. Mm-hmm. You would have gone, okay.
Yeah, you'd have taken it. I'd still take it.
Yeah. If the Republicans do complete getting the majority in the House, that is still a good thing. But what is the man? I hate using what appears to be like narrative approved language. What does the autopsy tell us about this? I hate the autopsy phrase is being used quite a bit, because they're basically saying the Republican Party is like a dead body. And I want to ask you something. I want to ask you if you lose something that you stood by, that you stood for, does that make what you stood by and stood for wrong or bad? It does not.
No.
You have to ask yourself, over the course of this past election, where was the disconnect? And I think that the idea that the Republicans thought, we could just say the economy's bad, everybody point at Joe Biden, this guy sucks, let's vote against him, that doesn't work anymore. Mm-mm. And it also we are in a place right now where the identity politics that surround both parties are more important than the actual policies. Talking about policy sounds super boring. It's not exciting to discuss. Talking about economic policy, Steve Moore is going to be on with us in about 30 minutes. I'm going to ask him if the Republicans made their honest case not to vote against the Democrats, but did the Republicans make the case to vote for them? He might think that they did. I don't know. I'm going to ask him. But the message behind what conservative stands for is still good, and it's still a worthy cause, and it deserves to be fought for. And if you are somebody who subscribes to that line of thinking and you've been dismayed, don't be. It's not ever easy. It never has been easy. I don't know why we would all of a sudden think it's so easy now. Why? Because Joe Biden is Brandon? Because it's clear to you that the Democrat Party and Joe Biden and the policies that they stand for are disastrous? People have to make that connection. People have to associate what's going on now with who's making the policies, who's passing the laws, who's signing them into existence. And let's not act like the 4 years before Joe Biden were easy. They were really, really hard. It was very hard to be somebody who supported Donald Trump, because you were a certain kind of person if you supported Donald Trump. And I would venture to guess that the reason you supported Donald Trump is because he effectively led with conservatism infinitely more than anybody who voted for him in 2016 probably expected him to do. I voted against Hillary Clinton in 2016, and I voted for Donald Trump in 2020. There's a big difference. The ballot counts the same, but it is a big difference. It's important to remember that the things that the conservative side stands for has to be separate from the noise that surrounds elections. And I'm hoping that a lot of people who are in a position right now to look back and say, What happens next? That you are encouraged by the reasons why you support who you support. That the energy and strength and confidence that you have to support whomever it is that you support is based on your personal beliefs and values that you want to see enacted in your government officials, because that is how they represent you. You need to find a representative identity in somebody who is going to run on the behalf of representing you. They need to reflect you, not the other way around. The person who is going to campaign and to fight to represent your district, the constituency that you're a part of. If you are looking for people and you're like, I want to be like that guy, or I really want to go where that guy's going, make sure that you're the one leading them. I think that's lost right now. And I think it's lost in the cult of personality that exists in all politics. If I say cult of personality, I bet that your mind goes to one name. But that's not the case. It's all of them. It's across the board. And that takes me to our YouTube live chat poll today. Specifically here on the Annie Frey Show, which is what this question is referring to. And maybe I should have put that in there, but I didn't. Specifically here, from noon to 3 on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Should we be having the Trump-DeSantis 2024 discussion? Your options are yes, or yes, but after the Georgia runoff, or no. I want to know what you think, because I've struggled and I've wrestled with this, because certainly that conversation is out there, and I think a lot of people are speaking from a incredibly emotional place and not really from a cerebral place on this. And as I've said before, I don't really like to have emotions about really anything. I like to stay even keeled, like to be calm and collected and studied on an issue. And I think that, my emotional response on Trump or DeSantis or 2024, if I give you my emotional response on Monday, it might be different on Tuesday. But what am I thinking about this? What am I, what kind of thoughts do I have on this particular issue in the proper place of this discussion? I want to know what you think. Should we be having the Trump-DeSantis 2024 discussion? And I'm talking about here on the Annie Frey Show. Do you want us to have that discussion? Yes, but after the Georgia runoff, or no? Give us your vote. Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. And this is one of those poll questions where I heavily am going to rely on your comments. Tell me why you voted the way you did. Tell me why you think the way you think, because I have pretty strong thoughts and feelings on this question right now. And I want to make sure that what I do here is reflected in what is expected from the audience. So go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote. Let's take a quick break. Wiggins is out today, so no Wiggins America when we come back, but more coverage on the latest news and headlines that are hitting the airwaves right now when we return. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Why don't you stick around, wind your windows down?
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Sometimes I pretend that I can hear his words at all, but they echo in my sleep, and it doesn't help me keep.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AAMCO.
IGotFloored.com, the website to shop right now at Michael's Flooring Outlet. I love the family who runs Michael's Flooring Outlet. They've been doing this for almost 30 years, and they've been successfully helping neighbors just like you get the flooring in their home, in their place of business. Maybe you're purchasing new flooring for a church or something in your life, and you want to make sure that you get great value. Well, you go to shop at the family-owned and operated business, Michael's Flooring Outlet. All the information you need online at igotfloored.com, including all of the different types of products that they have, all of the different types of finishes that they have, looks, and they have the ability to get an estimate right there on the website. igotfloored.com has everything you need to quickly make a great purchase for your place of business. They have the Mohawk Smart Strand carpet line. They have the Revwood Techwood Plus flooring that is going to give you the beautiful finish that looks like hardwood. It's going to stand the consequences of your home life. I'm talking about mine, dogs, kids, lots of busyness going on. You can find out all the details you need for your flooring purchase online at igotfloored.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuyshomeStLouis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com, Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com, chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com, or call 314-782-8000.
Join Mosby Building Arts every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 FM. Rich Orse and guests give insider tips about renovations, design, construction, exteriors, and more. Tune in to Right at Home with Rich on Saturdays or catch the podcast online.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service now offers insulation services. Did you know 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated? Increase your energy savings and comfort with better insulation. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Fact-checking the mainstream media daily.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You found it here. 97.1 FM Talk.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. They say it's all right. They say it's all right. Say it's all right. Have a good time. 'Cause it's all right. Whoa, it's all right. Now we gonna move it slow. Up in the lights are low. When you move it slow, it feels like a moan. 'Cause it's all right. Whoa, it's all right.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Yeah, you got soul. Everybody knows that it's all right. Whoa, it's all right.
Well, here's what we saw. We saw that the Democrats weren't getting their votes out. We saw as we got closer, the polls got better. But here's what happened to us. Election day, our voters didn't show up. We didn't get enough voters. It's a complete disappointment. I think we've got to reflect now. What didn't happen? I think we didn't have enough of a positive message. We said everything about how bad the Biden agenda was. It's bad. The Democrats are radical. But we have to have a plan of what we stand for. Herschel Walker is running. He's going to say he's going to reduce gas prices. He's going to figure out how to reduce food prices. He's going to make sure crime comes down. He's going to make sure we get a secure border. We're going to have a lethal military, energy independence. So we have to run on things that we believe in. And don't attack Republicans that put out a plan that say, hey, well, let's have a conversation about these things.
The elephant in the room is Donald Trump. That's just the truth. That's just the truth of it. That's Rick Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Our YouTube live chat poll today is, should we be having a Trump-DeSantis 2024 discussion? You have three options. Yes, but after the Georgia runoff, or no. And I'd love for you to go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel right now and vote. This is in the live chat section. We put a poll up every day. That's today's poll. I can't hear anything that anybody is saying without thinking that they're talking, even if they're not. It just dominates the discussion. And Brad, you and I have, even before there were statements made by former President Trump about other people who potentially could run, nobody who has said anything about running for president. Even before he said that, we talked about how do we do this with the Georgia runoff coming up? Because ideally, in my mind, if I got to control things, and I literally control nothing. So there is literally nothing that I do here, or really any part of my life that has supreme control. And it's sad. No, I'm kidding. Kind of. I wish that we would just all come together and get Herschel Walker across the line.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
No, we're not. Well, we're not going to come together. That doesn't mean that Herschel Walker can't get across the line.
You think he can win?
Yeah, he can win. But again, it's going to take everybody in the boat rowing in the same direction and nobody rocking the boat. And so that kind of gives you a hint to where I am on the poll.
Well, it's just, isn't it heavy? It's heavy. It's a heavy burden for voters to bear right now. It's a tall order to ask of Republican voters right now that want Herschel Walker to win. I mean, Herschel Walker winning, there's not as demonstrative of a difference between 50 seats and 49 seats for the Republicans.
No.
There'd be a massive difference between 50 and 51.
Yes.
If Republicans winning Herschel Walker's Georgia seat gave them 51, massive difference. But at 49 and 50, even if Raphael Warnock wins re-election, the Democrats still have the tie-breaking vote with Kamala Harris, and that will be that. I wanted to give you the opportunity. This isn't Wiggins America. This is Brad's World or something. I don't know. And you messaged about this weekend, and I printed out this article from The Hill, and it was talking about silver linings to the GOP's midterm shortfall. I'm going to read from this article, and I'm going to let you follow up because you said something. And if people needed to see the time and date stamped, you would see that Brad wrote this before I got this off The Hill. Are there any silver linings to the disappointing midterm elections for Republicans? Yes, at least 3. President Biden wants to run again. Donald Trump has been dethroned, and the GOP cannot be blamed for the recession that looms over 2023. Put together, the results might oddly have given the GOP better odds of winning in 2024 than if the much-anticipated red wave had materialized. That's kind of what you said.
Yeah, and the reason I said that is because I was sitting down, I was talking to my wife, and we were looking at our power bill. We got a note from our power company that our price per kilowatt hour is going to go up by 300% in February. So if you pay attention to elections and swearing-ins and stuff like that, what you'll notice is that February is right after a group is sworn in. It got me thinking about this, on an economic thing. We are headed in the wrong direction economically, putting and a lot of the stuff that we're going to see that's going to go wrong is already baked in. It's going to happen. If you look at the job market's cooling. It's like, oh, well, the inflation's coming down. Well, that's because the economy's slowing down. The economy slowing down isn't a good thing. That's going to cost people jobs. That's going to cost people their homes.
That's why the interest rates kept going up, because they wanted to tap the brakes.
Right. They wanted to tap the brakes because what they want is less money circulating so that there's not as high a demand for goods, and therefore the price of goods comes down. That's how that works. That's basic economics. But that means that people are going to start hurting. The housing market is starting to slow down. I've even looked at the automotive market is starting to slow down. There's going to be collapses in these markets, and people are going to be hurting. Well, if the Republicans win, then who are the Democrats going to blame for that? Well, they're going to blame the Republicans, even though this is already happening because of the policies that are already in place. So
very similar to what Joe Biden has talked about when he claims about like the highest job growth in history has to do with the fact that they shut down the economy. So you get to conveniently take credit for a statistic that doesn't have the full context of the story.
Or the deficit that he says he's reduced by $1.7 trillion, which they pumped up before he even started talking about that. The details are in the numbers, and numbers don't lie, but the people who arrange them do. But what's going to happen over the next year or so I think we're already in a recession. The recession is going to become undeniable. It's going to become deep, and it's going to become bad. But whenever the Republicans have control of both chambers, there's not a whole lot that they can do about it. But they'll be in charge, and the people in charge are always the one that gets the blame.
Topher says on our YouTube channel, tepid admission that voting Republican would have done absolutely nothing to help the economy. Boy, that is an ignorant statement, Topher. That is a I wake up and put my Democrat undies on in the morning and want to make sure everybody sees them. You know why? Because voting Republican and dividing the power that exists in Washington, D.C., as we have consistently said for the entire hour here, putting that division in government so one party has some control and the other has control in a different office. Massive stoppage of more bills like the Inflation Induction Act being passed through an all Democrat Congress. So your Dem undies are showing, Topher. But you're probably proud of that. So, the kind that you like, the old Hilfiger that you always used to wear, it's just a Democrat. I don't know why they're undies, but that's what you're doing.
And essentially that was my point in that whole tweet at the end. Is like, I'm not sure that this is a silver lining, because if the Republicans don't get House, it doesn't matter.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Steve Moore and Kevin Schmidt in the 1 o'clock hour.
Do you know how much of your life savings you could lose in the next market downturn? Are you okay with the stock market controlling your financial future, or would you like to have more control? Hi, I'm Ken Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. Our team can stress test your retirement portfolio and give you the confidence to enjoy your retirement without having to worry about what the stock market is doing. Call 314-328-6000 today. That's 314-328-6000. And schedule your complimentary retirement roadmap review with our team. That's 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
So Stewart's American Mortgage, he's the bagel loan guy. When you go to refinance your mortgage with Stewie, he is going to help you quickly get that mortgage refinance, get cash out if you need it. And also, I need to tell you about kind of a development that's taken place in the mortgage industry. Got this message from Stewie just yesterday that rates have taken a huge drop since the last inflation report came out. So if you have refinanced and gotten a loan over the last 90 days, you can refinance right now. Last 90 days, your rate's going to be pretty high since they've dropped down. When you use the bagel loan, guess what? He didn't charge you any of those fees to go through this process. This is a no-brainer. Save money by using the bagel loan with Stewart's American Mortgage. You're going to call 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Or you can Google the bagel loan to find out more information and figure out how he can get that interest rate that you secured within the last 90 days even. When it was high, as it's gone lower now, you want to make sure that you are saving the most money possible. Call my friend Stewie. He'll explain the whole thing to you. And remember, those rates, those closing costs don't exist.
Some things happen slowly, and maybe you don't notice right away that you're slowing down, that you don't recover as quickly from injuries or sore muscles, and you kind of wonder why, but you just go on with your life. Victory Men's Health was set up with you in mind. They have medical doctors who've been working in the area of men's health specifically for 30 years. If you've got low T, if you've got ED, if you're dealing with any of those issues, don't suffer in silence. You can thank me later. Book your appointment at victorymenshealth.com.
The winter temps can be brutal for many Missouri and Illinois neighbors. As people make tough choices, there is relief available in Illinois and Missouri through heatupstlouis.org and its partners. This is Randy Naughton, encouraging you to remember families and seniors this holiday season. Please avoid unsafe methods of heating and check on your neighbors. Need help? Give help at heatupstlouis.org. That's heatupstlouis.org.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
President Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping held a 3-hour meeting today while attending the G20 summit in Bali, Indonesia.
President Biden told Chinese President Xi Jinping the U.S. intends to compete vigorously with China.
But I'm not looking for conflict. I'm looking to manage this competition responsibly.
President Biden said the U.S. and China need not engage in a new Cold War as both major economies look to enhance influence in Asia and around the world.
It was also clear that China and the United States should be able to work together where we can to solve global challenges that require every nation to do its part.
President Biden says he reiterated the U.S. one China policy and added he does not believe there's any imminent attempt on the part of China to invade Taiwan.
Fox's Jared Halpern in Washington. President Biden also telling reporters today he doubts there are enough votes in Congress to codify abortion rights after the Supreme Court overturned federal protections for abortion earlier this year.
I don't think there's enough votes to codify unless something happens unusual in the House.
Democrats appear likely to lose control of the House, which would allow Republicans to block any such legislation. A manhunt ended a few hours ago for the man police say killed 3 University of Virginia football players and wounded 2 others last night. UVA Police Chief Tim Longo says the suspect was involved in a hazing investigation last year.
Through the course of the threat assessment team's investigation, we learned of a prior criminal incident involving a concealed weapon violation that occurred outside the city of Charlottesville in February of 2021.
The suspect, a student at the school, is now facing several charges, including second-degree murder. Police are investigating yesterday's deaths of 4 University of Idaho students as homicides. America's listening to Fox News.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather.
The official 97.1 FM Talk Weather Center forecast for the afternoon. Some clouds and sun, a breezy afternoon. High today 47. Clear and cold tonight, low 29. Partly sunny for tomorrow, the high only 38. And then clear and cold tomorrow night, low 25. Partly sunny Sunday, the high 42. And then for Monday, partly sunny and chilly with the daytime high 47. I'm Steve Williams for 97.1 FM Talk.
97.1 FM Talk and Straight Realty would like to introduce you to Brian Kilmeade in person, December 9th. For details and to purchase your tickets now, visit 971talk.com/events.
I'm Howard Mackler of GetRefunds.com. You may have heard me talk about the payroll tax refund program that gives businesses up to $26,000 for every employee they kept on payroll during COVID. But today, I'm not going to do the talking. I'm letting a real Get Refunds client tell you everything.
I'm Ray, owner of Manzi Insurance and Real Estate. I heard about the payroll tax refund and GetRefunds.com on the radio. When COVID hit my business, I scrambled to figure out how to protect our employees and customers while still being able to service our clients' needs. They got me approved for a payroll tax refund, and with that money, it allowed me to upgrade our technology to provide the means for some employees to work remote while also protecting those that return to the office. If you have a business, you should go to GetRefunds.com and start your claim today.
GetRefunds.com helped their business, and we can help yours too. Go to GetRefunds.com and see if you qualify in just 8 minutes. GetRefunds.com, powered by Innovation Refunds.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 800-730-8405 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as, that's 800-730-8405. 8405.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman. You can find us online at claymangroup.com, KLAMEN group.com. If you just inherited a property and you're not sure what you're going to do with it and you want an as-is sale, please reach out to us today. Especially with probate cases, we do a lot of work with the probate courts and we're very familiar with the confusing process. So if you have a house that you want to sell fast, maybe something that you just inherited, please reach out. Complete the form online and start the conversation today. claimandgroup.com, KLAMEN group.com.
Tony LaRussa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I don't know whether we're technically in a recession. I know economists argue over that, and they have certain technical definitions. What I can tell you is the economy does not look great right now. Things are slowing down. You're seeing layoffs in many, many sectors of the economy. People are slowing down. The probabilities say if we're not in a recession right now, we're likely to be in one very soon. So my advice to people, whether they're small business owners or, is take some risk off the table. If you were going to make a purchase, maybe slow down that purchase a little bit. Keep some dry powder on hand, and wait a bit and see how. Try to reduce some risk in your business or your life.
So Jeff Bezos there talking about what business owners might be thinking or doing right now to shore up some of their risk. That doesn't sound very promising. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're glad that you're here with us today. Beautiful day outside in St. Louis. Hopefully you're enjoying this afternoon, and we thank you for making 97.1 a part of it. The economy, I don't think that anybody is saying that the economy is not great. that it's struggling. I don't think that anybody is looking at what we're experiencing as consumers, as business owners, as gajillionaires like Jeff Bezos and going, yeah, everything's good. Everything's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. I don't think that that's what people are thinking. The question is, how do you translate what the experience is right now with what it needs to be, what needs to happen next in order to see a difference? I think it's pretty clear that if the Republicans have the majority in the House, that they're going to put a logjam into the system that's going to stop big spending bills that have gone through the House of Representatives prior to the Republicans taking the majority. And they're going to be able to stop some of this massive spending. But I do think it is a good, honest criticism of the Republican Party to say, what is your plan moving forward in order to actually get us back on an economic track? And whether they have conveyed that one way or not previously, that message is not getting through to the American people. It is not being made completely and totally obvious to voters that the party difference on these issues is significant. Frequently, I will go back to the idea of big Republican government spending is still big spending, and big government is not the way to go. If you listen to the show, at the start of the show, I was talking about the idea of abortion being a leading issue for a lot of different campaigns and elections that took place. Democrats want to make abortion a leading issue for people when they go to the ballot box. They want them to be thinking about abortion when they fill in the circle, because whatever your position is, chances are if abortion becomes one of those leading issues for a lot of people who may be willing to vote Republican because the economy is going bad, they don't want to see their that women's right to an abortion to dissipate. And they're afraid of what would happen under a Republican value. The Republicans do not successfully articulate to the voting public the consequences of voting Democrats. They have not been able to successfully articulate that. And I think that's because sometimes it's hard to tell the difference, economically speaking, between Republicans and Democrats. It could become, it's difficult. First of all, it's difficult to go out and say, here are all the things that I want to cut. I'm being asked on the YouTube live chat right now to list the things that I would like to cut. Oh, well, that politically speaking, that is a very pointed question where I don't know why you even asked me that, because we've heard from every Democratic candidate that's out there that says that all Republicans want to cut Social Security and Medicare. Check your facts. Where did that come from? Exactly. The idea that we need to cut across the board, many people have talked about the penny plan, cut everything 1%. We are spending money we don't have.
Right.
Bottom line, we are spending money that we don't have. We're spending money that our children don't have. We're spending money that our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren don't have. And it sounds mean to go out and say, well, I think I would cut the funding to the children in the school. Okay, I get it. I understand. Do I know every penny that is being spent by the United States government? I don't. You know why? Because the bills are so big that the people who pass the legislation don't even know. Mm-hmm. Just ask them. They have to pass the bill so they can see what's in it. Got to pass this big chunk of paper so we can find out who we're signing checks to. There are a lot of different places that are receiving checks from the American taxpayer, not from the government, folks, from the American taxpayer, that could be afforded to button it up and tighten it up while we get our act together. And if we get our act together, then we can find other places that maybe we could send some money. If I'm going to look on the whole of everywhere we're sending money, and I'm going to look at every single penny that's coming out of the American taxpayer's pocket and being funneled to a place that an elected official deems more worthy than the origination of where that penny came from, I have a feeling if we went line by line, I don't know how many years that would take, but if we went line by line, we'd be able to shore up a few pennies along the way that I bet you the majority of us would agree that we could pull that money back. Mm-hmm. I think that there's probably a lot of bipartisanship there, but the idea of trying to put one person or the other on the stand and saying, what are you going to cut? Tell us what you're going to cut. You're going to cut Medicare. You're going to cut Social Security. You're going to cut public education. You're going to cut funding to help people pay for their health care. These are obvious issues of things that are going to be hot button issues that are going to be worthy of discussion. But on the whole, we're going to be able to look at a ton of different places that we could absolutely cut when we cannot afford it. If you want to cut spending to education, is there bloat in our education spending? You better believe it. Is there bloat in our defense spending? You better believe it. Because when we spend money, when we start spending, we just start writing checks. And when the money doesn't come out of our own pockets, when we're spending it, when we're spending other people's money, bureaucracy and corruption and just general errors that occur when those dollars are being spent, there are a lot of different ways that spending could be cut, but nobody even talks about that. Who in this last election was talking about cutting spending? All it is election campaigns or promise after promise after promise of this is what I'm going to do for you and this is what I'm going to do for you, which is why I go back to what I was saying in the first hour, in the first segment. When it comes to abortion, why don't we do the conservative thing and figure out a solution to making abortion unthinkable for women by supporting them and showing up for them and helping them choose life and not sitting around and waiting for legislators to get elected in a blue state where they're never going to get elected to pass legislation that's going to make it illegal? Why don't we do the conservative thing and find a solution to a problem that exists outside of government? Because, folks, we don't have time to wait for government. That's the conservative thing to do. How can we fix a problem that we have outside of waiting for the incredibly, incredibly slow gears of government to work? And right now, as a Republican, I'm hoping for the Republicans to secure that 218th seat in the House so that government can come to a screeching halt in Washington, D.C. That is my hope. Maybe you don't agree with that. I don't care. It does not bother me that you disagree with that. I don't care. Our government system is so overgrown and bloated and broken, and it needs to be fixed. And a simple question like, what are you going to cut?
What are you going to cut?
Here's the deal. I don't feel as though that question is being asked in a way that is created to be productive.
No, it's not. It's a disingenuous way of asking it.
100%.
And the reason I would say that is because you point to the things that they always want to say that you want to cut. They never mention the little things, probably because they don't know the little things, which you kind of went through. A big omnibus spending bill has how many pages in it? Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of pages. And every one of those pages has some sort of spending in it. And like you said, it would be a process of going through what is overbloated, what is needed, what is not. You cannot sit there and tell me that this government doesn't need fat trimmed from it. The other part of that is, too, when you look at like what the Democrats have done in the past couple of years, they've done things like, well, let's hire 87,000 new IRS agents. Well, that's more government spending. Well, what if we did $10,000 of student loan forgiveness? Well, that's more government spending. That's the exact opposite of what we're saying.
Yeah, let's start with the list and put that one at the top. Let's just say no free checks for people who, and listen, my family is one of them that could benefit from the student loan handout.
I am personally one that would benefit from that.
Yeah.
I still have student loan debt, but I also know that I signed on that dotted line, which means that I said that I would pay it back. And I don't believe Joe the plumber, who used his own money to buy his own truck, to buy his own tools, to buy his own equipment, to start his own business, to have a successful life and a successful business, owes me a dang thing. That is such an arrogant thing to say.
The irony of it is that that plan is not created to acknowledge Joe the plumber for the money that is going to come out of his pocket. The idea is that the Democrats get the credit for it, which is really like pimping and turning the taxpayers into your prostitutes. That's really what it is. And if you're listening at home and you don't know what those two words mean, you have to ask your parents. It's a frustrating thing. It's a frustrating conversation to have. Where are you going to cut spending? I mean, if there are places in every bill that could spend less money. And our articulated this on many occasions. It is incredibly frustrating to me that Republicans alike cannot convey this message. How are the Republicans going to go in there? I mean, listen, Democrats, do you feel like there are places you should cut spending? I'd bet $100 real, which is worth like what, $75 now? I'd bet $100 real that if I say we should cut spending, that you would very quickly be like, what about the military? You think we should cut the military spending? I bet there's too much bloat there. Blah, 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 blah. I bet we're not at war right now. Are we? Are we not at war? Should we not be at the ready right now while with nuclear war imminent? You're the ones who keep talking about Russia. Mm-hmm. You're the ones who keep bringing Russia up here. Is Russia a threat? Because either Russia is a threat and we should be sending boatloads of American taxpayer dollars to Ukraine to help them defend themselves, to keep the war over there, or Russia isn't a threat. And if Russia isn't a threat, then why are we sending Ukrainian dollars over there? If Russia is a threat, then maybe our military should be at the ready and should be prepared. My idea of cutting military spending generally has to do with the bureaucratic bloat that exists top to bottom, probably in the entire governmental structure that, of course, does include the military. I'm very interested in buying bullets for our military men and shields and technology that's going to keep them safe and make sure that they win every war, every battle that they fight. I am not interested in investing in bureaucratic bloat that exists in every nook and cranny where government finds itself inhaling and exhaling on a daily basis. So yes, we could absolutely find places to cut in the military budget. I bet you and I wouldn't agree on which places we should cut in the military budget. But I'm willing to have that conversation. Are you? Are you willing to have that conversation about where we spend in education? Are you willing to have that conversation about where we spend in all sorts of entitlement programs that exist, like student loan forgiveness? Is $10,000 of student loan debt forgiveness a good idea for Americans? Is that a good idea? Now, you're going to make the case to me, that is going to stimulate the economy. We've stimulated ourselves into having to slow the economy. We've stimulated the economy so much that we now have had to push the brakes on it with interest rate hikes that are causing a lot of different things. Listening to the guy, Jeff Bezos, who knows a little bit more about business and the economic system than I do, saying, yeah, there's a lot of risk out there. If I were you, I'd be minimizing my risk. Listen to the experts. Don't listen to me. What do I know? Apparently something, because you're here listening. Let's take a quick break. Kevin Schmidt's going to join us when we come back. Kevin Schmidt is the newly elected Republican candidate, representative, I should say, in the Illinois House District 114. AP has called his race, and he's going to be Brad's new representative.
I'm so excited
Is
about
LaToya
that.
Greenwood going to concede? I don't know.
I don't care.
I do.
Just go away.
Let's talk to Kevin Schmidt when we come back and ask him about his victory. Ask him if it's set in stone. I sure hope it is. From what I understand, it is. Kevin Schmidt on the Annie Frey Show in a minute.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Last night you were in my room, and now my bedsheets smell like you. Every day discovering something brand new. Well, I'm in love with your body.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Air Comfort Service online at aircomfortservice.com. It's cold outside, and my furnace was working. Now, Brad was just talking about in the last segment about how his heating energy bill is going to go up. I don't know if you've gotten that bad news yet, but I want to make sure that if you are looking right now at an inefficient furnace for the winter, it might make a lot of sense to reach out to Air Comfort Service right away and say, what can you do? Can you check this out? Can you look at my system and tell me if I'm in good working order? Because if you are blowing air through your house that's not heating your home efficiently, I can't afford that anymore, and I bet you can't. You probably be struggling with that as well. I had a new furnace put in my home 2 Christmases ago with Air Comfort Service. Ours started to be on the fritz. They said they could repair it, but we made the decision to go ahead and replace it because A, we trusted Air Comfort Service to give us the right information, and B, we could have paid the money to fix it, but then if it didn't, it was 20 years old. It was just time. And we'd rather put that money towards a new unit. And we have loved it each and every winter that we've had to fire that furnace up. If you're looking at an inefficient furnace, if you need a tune-up done, if you need to make sure that some maintenance that you've been putting off gets taken care of the right way, you need to reach out to Air Comfort Service. Call them at 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091, online at aircomfortservice.com.
What's your favorite 4-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our 4-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
On Monday afternoon, the very latest tallies from out west and Missouri Congressman Jason Schmidt will join me.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
And although that's pain in my chest, I still wish you the best. Forget you.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Monday. Almost said Wednesday. Why? Wishful thinking, I guess. I'm not 100% sure. Welcome back, and we are glad that you are here. We've got quite a week ahead of us with lots of news on the election still developing, and we'll bring it to you as it develops, especially if it happens here on our show. We appreciate all of the time and dedication and trust you entrust in us. We're grateful for it. I want to get to our next guest, and I am so excited to bring Kevin Schmidt on to the Annie Frey Show after a long and hard-fought election. Kevin Schmidt, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show.
Hello, how are you?
Good. So, Kevin, you ran for the Illinois State Representative seat as a Republican candidate for the 114th District. You ran against LaToya Greenwood, and the AP has called it, you have beaten LaToya Greenwood for that district.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah, I said before, I don't know. I hope you're not offended by this, but I keep going, are you sure? Because East St. Louis and that district has a history of finding votes, they just count votes differently in that district than they do in a lot of others. Tell me about election night and about I guess it was up till Thursday when the AP finally made the call.
Well, so they did lose a ballot box in East St. Louis for the majority of the evening, and then it reappeared. So that did happen, but whatever, that's all included in this vote total, so I did win. And, yeah, it took them a little while to call it, but they eventually did, and here I am.
So you said LaToya Greenwood has not reached out to you yet?
Correct.
What do you think that is?
You'd have to ask her.
Okay. Well, I think I will. Brad? Can you reach out to them? And
I can.
Okay, thank you. So you're going to be Brad's new Illinois state representative, and Kevin, in a state that did not see a whole lot of Republican success, you were able to pull it off in the 114th district. How long has it been since a Republican has represented the 114th?
Ooh, well, so it's a newly drawn district, so I would say the question would be, how long has it been since a Republican has represented the people of East St. Louis at the state level? And that's been a long, long, long time. I don't know those numbers, but it's been a long time. Yeah, it's a great victory. As far as at the state level, I am the only state rep to flip a seat. We lost 3 incumbents, so that's a net loss of 2, given I won 1. So it's definitely going to be an uphill battle in Springfield for me.
Yeah, it is. And Republicans were not able to get the ball across the end line in this election the way that a lot of people had hoped. And you're going to be put on the spot, Kevin, as somebody who's going to be representing a very traditionally, at least the 114th is number, as you said, there was redistricting here after the 2020 census. People are going to be watching to see, what does a Republican do for me? I mean, people get the opportunity to look at the other side and see what the other side can do to bring awareness and attention to the people of your district. How do you intend to show them that maybe the Republicans do have something to offer folks that traditionally in the past haven't been represented by one?
Well, it all goes back to the limited government approach, and I think that's the key. And that's what will bring jobs to the area and grow the middle class. So that hasn't been done, and that's what I'm going for. Lower taxes as well. Yes, but I'm definitely going to be put on the spot, like you said. I'm going to work with the local leaders. I'm going to represent the entire district, not just part of the district. I think that's important. My district is very, very diverse, and I'm going to represent all the people. So. And ultimately, it's kind of, play it by ear as we move along. Things come up, you adjust, and you make happen what needs to be happening.
Mm-hmm. You're speaking with Kevin Schmidt. He is the Republican who ran in the 114th Illinois State House District and was able to flip that seat from LaToya Greenwood's Democrat stronghold on that district to now be red. Like you said, the only Republican pickup in the Illinois State House. What do you think right now what do you want to say to those voters who are in Illinois? They're downstaters, they're conservative, they're looking at their statewide government and feeling like it doesn't really reflect them. What do you have any encouragement for those Republican conservative voters about what they need to do now and maybe just going into the next 2 years? Because when you decided to step into the race and run for the Illinois State House, you're no career politician. You're a chiropractor, and you're somebody who was sick and tired of the way things were going. I think there are probably a lot of people who are in that position right now, and you know what it's like to be in those shoes, and now you're finding yourself on your way to the Illinois State House.
Well, so, as far as, speaking to the conservative voters down here in Southern Illinois, I tell them don't lose hope. There is another election coming in 2 years here, and that your vote counts and that you matter. It didn't go the way we wanted to at the state level, but democracy is a fluid thing, and in 2 years we're going to be looking at a different situation. I think we'll have wins, and we'll move the ball down the field in the right direction in 2 years. More wins than just one, and the loss of two. But it's a lot of it I think was messaging and what we were focused on. What I focused on is I just met people and talked to people. It was pretty simple. I blocked out all the noise coming from really everywhere, and I just focused on voters. I talked to the people, and I think I got a good amount of Democrats that flipped, voted for me. They may not have voted for the rest of the Republicans, but they did vote for me. And that's what it's got to be. You got to represent the people. That's the key, and that's what I'm going to do.
Al is asking on the YouTube channel if you were endorsed by anyone important, if you got a boost. Brad Range is pointing to himself. Brad, you were endorsed by Brad Range of the Annie Frey Show. But Al, you're talking about just trying to drown out the noise and focus on the people who you wanted to represent. It doesn't seem to me like the Illinois Republican Party as a whole, and I'm talking about this apart from you, but it doesn't seem like they have the winning message down, because we haven't seen a whole lot of winning, and you were able to push through it. What were those messages? How did you manage to pull it off?
Well, so you got to understand, I'm a chiropractor, so I deal with people in difficult situations every day, all day for the past 16 years. And I think I have empathy for what they're going through. I know how to talk to people, and in my profession, you would call that bedside manner. And I think a lot of it is just having empathy for what's happening. And, East St. Louis, the Cokie Heights, they need help. They need help bad. And it needs to happen, now, 2 years ago, 10 years ago. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and help people, which is what I did as a chiropractor.
I think it's a good message. And I think that people need to really, really start thinking right now. I know we're 2 years away from the next election, but in places like Illinois, in places like St. Louis County, where Sam Page was reelected, and there's so much frustration over how people could continue to vote for the same thing that's been plaguing the issues that seem to be the source of a lot of our problems. I think that the message needs to get out there. There needs to be a real commitment to retail politics, to making the connections between people who want to be those candidates. Step up now, start building those relationships. And Kevin, you were able to do that. And I wanted to make sure that we had you on the show. And, if you get that message, if you get that concession from LaToya Greenwood, let me know. I would love to. You got my number. You can reach out to me.
I was told that it's not going to be coming.
No.
So, but I was like, okay, whatever. I still won. So
as long as
I've never met her or spoken to her in my entire life. I've never even seen her. So she doesn't come to this part of the district too often.
Well, we're going to be watching, and Kevin, we're going to be continuing to keep in touch with you for these next 2 years in your first term as the Illinois State House Representative for the 114th District. I'm so proud of what you've been able to achieve, and wanted to make sure that we were able to talk to you here on the Annie Frey Show and get down to business. We're looking forward to seeing what you're able to do.
Yeah, we got to straighten up Illinois, right?
That's right. Straighten up Illinois. Kevin Schmidt, we appreciate your time, and we look forward to having you back very soon.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Bye-bye. I'm really happy for him, and he is somebody who's worked really hard. But Ashley Hunsaker in the 113th, she worked her tail off. Jen Cordy in the 112th, she worked her tail off. We saw so many different people who were really working hard to make a change, and they didn't. It just didn't materialize, and there has to be a real autopsy. I can't stop it. Oh, it makes me so mad. We got to take a good hard look at what got us here and be open and honest about it. And if people want to dunk in your face because they won and you didn't, let them dunk. Store that away for the next competition. That's what I do. Take notes, write down the names, and work harder next time. And try to pull it off in the next election. That's the good thing about the country we live in. There will be another election. Let's take a quick break. Annie Frey Show returns when we come back. Steve Moore is going to join us at 2:05, I think. Is that right? Did we confirm that?
Well, Hannah's handling it, so Hannah can help.
Yes, she said yes. Yes. Steve Moore at 2:05. And we'll ask him what we can cut. I'm excited to ask the chief economist that very, very question. Stick around, more Annie Frey Show in a minute.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions, and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AAMCO.
Now your Bite This Network traffic report. It looks like every vehicle in the country is currently headed to Hardee's for a saucy A1 double cheeseburger for only $2.99. You heard that right. Every single car, truck, and annoying electric scooter thing all heading to Hardee's. But don't take a detour. Hit the brakes on your hunger with a Charbroil Double Deal. Bite into the new A1 double cheeseburger for only $2.99, only at Hardee's. Tax not included. Available for limited time at participating Hardee's restaurants. Price may vary. A1 is a registered trademark of Kraft Foods used with permission.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. A jacuzzi bath system fits in your existing tub space. It's a no-mess installation with an amazing style selection, factory-certified installers, and a limited lifetime warranty. Call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895 right now and get 50% off installations with no interest and no payments for 12 months. Replace that old bathtub today with a walk-in shower for a safer bathing experience. If you have lived in your home for over 15 years, it's time to remodel your bathroom. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
Did you know the Missouri State Treasurer's Office holds over $1 billion of unclaimed property? That's billion with a B. Things like utility deposits or uncashed checks and other money you didn't know was missing. This is Missouri State Treasurer Scott Fitzpatrick. My office wants to return this money to rightful owners, and the average claim is $300. Search your name online 24/7 at showmemoney.com. Claiming your money is always free, so search today at showmemoney.com.
Hey, natural gas leaks can be very dangerous if you're not careful. If you smell the odor of natural gas, leave it to the professionals to track it down. Warn others and leave the building immediately. Make sure you call your gas company from another location.
A tip from your friends at Mango.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
The voice for hardworking, free-thinking Americans.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
You got a smile so bright. You know you could have been a candle. I'm holding you so tight. You know you could have been a handle. The way you swept me off my feet. You know you could have been a broom.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
So sweet.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Some perfume. Well, you could have been anything that you wanted to, and I can tell the way you do the things you do, the way you do, oh baby.
I don't want to talk about anything else that's on my sheet. I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm like, oh God, I don't want to do it.
I'm going to be honest. I hate pulling audio right now because there's not a whole lot of variety.
It's not good. What'd you do this weekend? We had the Veterans Day Parade Friday night in Edwardsville. Thank you to everybody who came out. It was wonderful. It was cold.
Yeah. Well, my plan was like to go to the salvage yard and, find some parts for my truck. And
Can't do that when it snows?
No. Well, I mean, you can. I'm not going to do it.
Seems
'Cause,
like
it's
it would
basically
be
laying in
more
the snow.
challenging.
Yes. And I'm not about that life.
How does that work? How do you, if you're, I've never been to a salvage yard. How's that work?
So I take my tools, which I have on a little cart, and they can roll around, which is super cool because I didn't have that before, and you had to carry them, and that's heavy. So I take my tools down there, and you walk up and down the aisles until you find a truck or a vehicle that's the same as yours, same make, model, and year, or at least model year, and that has the part that's on it that you're looking for that's undamaged. And then you take it off, and you set it on your tray or in your little cart. And then when you're all done, you go up to the front and they say, okay, these parts are this much, these parts are this much, and then you pay and you leave.
If you salvage a part versus like ordering an aftermarket part, what's the cost savings? I'm sure that, I guess maybe percentage, because it would be such a random difference.
For me, it's, I don't know.
Because that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. And so I don't do it to salvage to save money. Generally, whenever I go to a salvage yard, it's for parts that you can't buy at a parts store because I'd much rather have a remanufactured part new. Spend the extra, for a remanufactured part versus a used part off of a car, you're probably 10% cheaper. It's just not worth it to me. But, they don't make headlight assemblies for certain makes and models anymore. So if you can go there and find a headlight assembly, then you can just pull that off and you've got it. So I would much rather, interior parts is a big one, dashboard parts and stuff like that. You can't go to O'Reilly's and be like, hey, I need a dash cover for a 96 Dodge Ram. So...
Is that what you're working on?
No.
No. What's special? What are you working on? Can you tell me?
Yeah, I'm working on my 97 Ford F-250.
97.
I didn't even know you had that.
Yep, that's my old work
Hannah,
truck.
why did you come in here? What about salvage yards and auto parts was like, I got to come in the studio?
Well, I figured we were talking about our weekend plans and...
Oh, so you don't have an auto parts storage?
No, other
Just
than
make
I'm
something
pretty
up.
sure my old car was only made from salvaged parts.
So when you go to the when you go to the junkyard, what's the appropriate name for it?
Salvage yard.
So when you go to the salvage yard, do you have one that you go to, or do you have like a series of them that you go to?
I really, really, really like the You Pick Apart because all of their cars.
Where's that?
So it's off of
Free advertising for You Pick Apart.
Free advertising for them. So it's off of 64.
I promise the next time I go to a salvage yard, I'll go to You Pick Apart.
Yeah. I believe
What's
it's
the
Kings
name?
Highway. You Pick Apart.
It's funny.
So tell me about it.
So what I really like about it is all the cars are sitting on a concrete pad. A lot of salvage yards you go to, it's just kind of like rocks and dirt, and so you got to lay in the mud and all this other stuff. So all their stuff is up on blocks. All their stuff is on a nice clean surface. It's all really well organized, so you're not just walking through random cars to find it. All the Fords are here, all the Chevys are here. Asian cars, German cars. It's all organized, which I really appreciate because it makes your job a lot faster.
Sure. We used to drive a 2006 Ford, what was the van? Wasn't a Windstar.
Aerostar.
No,
Windstar
No.
seems.
Windstar was a Ford van.
No, it's not that. It's Freestar. It was a Freestar.
Okay.
So it was, I think that's what it was. It was a Freestar. And it was like when they brought the minivans back. So I've told the story in the air. My husband was driving maybe a 2006 or something Dodge Dakota quad cab. Love that truck. It was a V8. We were driving it in the 2008 time frame. Got like 12 miles a gallon. Gas was $5 a gallon. That sucked.
Yeah.
We did not drive that truck very much. We also had this Ford Freestar. Well, my husband, there was something about the ball bearings in the wheel.
Wheel bearings, yeah.
There was the front right. I don't even remember which one it was. We were going to get it fixed. It was squeaking a lot. And, like when you bounce on the road, it was.
This is on the truck?
Yes.
So it's probably like a ball joint. So whenever you'd bounce, it'd make a squeaking sound.
Yeah, I think that's right.
A ball joint.
And he backed out of the driveway, and I was following him in the van because we were going to take the truck into Jerry's Tires. That's where we were going. And cause I want to give them a shout out because they were super nice to me. This was years ago. Jerry's Tires in Edwardsville, and he backs out of the driveway, and then he starts driving down, and the tire and the wheel came off the car, and it rolled. And I'm behind him in the van, and I think I had Charlie in like a car seat in the van, and I'm going, oh my gosh, Jared, stop. But he can't hear me because he's in his car. So I just stopped the van in the middle of, this is like when we used to live in Hamel. It's not a high traffic area. It's tiny. And I stop and I'm honking my horn and I put the car in park and I get out and I'm like waving my arms up in the air and I'm freaking out. And he stopped and he's like, what? He gets out of the car. He's like, what? I'm like, the wheel came off. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he gets out and I never forget the look on his face. His jaw just dropped and he was like, oh my gosh. So we had to call a tow truck. It was a whole thing. We get it towed to Jerry's and like figure out like what's it going to take to get this thing put back on the vehicle, which we did. And it was super pricey and we had no money at the time. And while this happens and I'm driving the van to and from work, get a flat tire. And so I'm like, God, you got to be kidding me. I'm taking it back to Jerry's, hoping that Jerry's will be able to repair the tire because we got the tires from there as well. And I'm sitting out in the like waiting area at Jerry's Tires with, I think, Charlie in this car seat next to me, praying that they can patch this tire. And I mean, I'm telling you, like my husband was in school at the time. I don't know if he was working because he took some time off of work so he could like plow through and take 21 hours of school to get it done to be a teacher. And they come out and they're like, ma'am, I'm really sorry. We're not able to patch it. And it's not the tire. The wheel is bent.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, what does that mean? And they're like, we're going to need to replace the wheel. And I'm like, what does that cost? He goes, well, they don't really make those anymore. So we're going to have to we're going to have to find one. So I'm looking at him and I'm going, how much is this going to cost? And he goes, I'm not 100% sure because it really depends on where we go and if we can find it. He goes, but it's probably going to be $800 to $1,000. And I started crying in Jerry's waiting room right there. And he's like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I'm like, do you know that Dakota truck that's in your without the wheel? And he's like, yeah, that we heard about it. Fell off. I'm like, that's my truck too. And he just stopped and his jaw dropped open. And he goes, ma'am, can you hold on for just 1 minute? And I'm like, yes. So he goes into some magical room, which I thought that only auto dealers had. And he's talking to people. And then all of a sudden he comes back. He goes, ma'am, we're going to try to help you here. and they helped me find one. They located one at 2 different yards. And my dad came and picked me up and he drove me, I think, to one that's right over here, right across off like Tucker. They're not Tucker, off the Stan Musial Bridge on the Illinois side. I think there's an auto part, or maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe I don't even remember.
111 salvage.
Maybe it's further than that. Yeah, 111 salvage. That might be it. And then the other one we did that we ended up buying the wheel from was in Pocahontas, And we drove all the way out there, and I found that stupid wheel for this stupid van. I was like, I didn't want to spend any money on that van. And yep, there we were. And I mean, like I felt so defeated. I felt like, I mean, it was very expensive. They ended up. My recollection is I paid for the wheel from the salvage yard, and I think they fixed it for free.
That's super nice.
It was super nice, and I did pay them a lot of money for the truck.
I had a similar situation, except I didn't cry.
You did on the inside, though.
No, because this is who Brad is. This is how this story changes it for me. So I had a bent wheel on my BMW, and to get a replacement wheel that matches the BMW bent wheel, you know,
BMW.
Yeah, BMW prices.
Pricey.
And so I looked at it. I found out that I could get 4 custom wheels and tires for cheaper than going to get one wheel. So I put 18-inch BMW M-style wheels on my BMW, and my car came out looking better than the other side, and I saved money in the long run.
Yeah, that's smart. I didn't know anything about that. Junkyards, it's funny thinking about junkyards and that search. I wouldn't even know what to begin doing in a junkyard, but it does kind of sound fun to be like on the hunt and on the search and then to find what you want. Is that exciting?
That must be satisfying.
It is, especially when you find exactly what you're looking for, because usually what you're looking for is kind of those rare things that everybody wants, and so when they hit the salvage yard, they're gone.
They go. And do you have like in your mind, like I'm going to the salvage yard for A, but I'm always kind of looking for B, C, D through Z.
1,000%.
So you keep your eyes open.
1,000%.
So my daughter and I told you earlier in the show that we put up some Christmas decorations, and
they look great.
We were going. The plan was. I think when was Halloween? Halloween was on a Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Monday. I don't remember. It doesn't matter because in the area I live in, we trick or treat the night before, and I picked up the kids from school on Friday before Halloween, and we were talking about who we were going to trick or treat with and when we were going to trick or treat. And Evelyn, my 6-year-old, looks at me and she goes, "Yeah, and this weekend we can put up our Halloween decorations too." And I was like, "Oh, honey, that's not happening." I'm like, that ship has sailed. And I talk about, we have this regular conversation on this show. When do Christmas decorations go up? When is it appropriate to? And if you've listened to the show long enough, my answer to that is whenever you want to put up your Christmas decorations is the appropriate time. If you want to wait, good on you for waiting. If you wanted to put them up 3 weeks ago, I don't care. They're your decorations. If it makes you happy, it does not make me sad. Moving on. If you go to the point where you have a 6-year-old in your car going, "Can we put up our Halloween decorations this week?" That's exactly why I put up decorations early, because time gets away from you.
Yeah.
And if you get to the point where the time has moved past and you're like, this is a lot of work to put up decorations for a week and a half of enjoyment, then you don't end up putting them up at all. And I did that one year. I think it was when... It was probably, actually, I know it was the year my son was born, because my son was born the day after Christmas, and I was not about putting up Christmas decorations in my house in the last 4 weeks of my pregnancy. But it was a bummer. Like, Christmas didn't happen because baby was on the way, and I missed it. And so I've always tried to get the Christmas decorations up early. Well, I told my daughter that she could be Captain Christmas and we would put up the Christmas decorations early, since we never got the Halloween decorations up. So she came down on from getting out of bed in her like Santa Claus Christmas like red velvety dress with the white trim around it and everything.
That's awesome.
She wore that all day Saturday, and my oldest daughter and I went out, and we went kind of similar to your salvage yard situation. We went to estate sales looking for Christmas records. Because my husband bought me a really nice turntable for my birthday. So we went out on a hunt looking for Christmas albums, and we got Bing Crosby's White Christmas album. I have a country Christmas album. And the thing that I love about these is that they're just conglomerations of different artists singing Christmas music on a record player. And I got to imagine finding those records has got to be kind of like a salvage yard. It's got to be the same.
Oh, yeah, same energy.
All right, let's take a quick break. Steve Moore when we come back.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
The pain was so bad, it felt like I was walking on knife blades. It took my life away. And my doctor recommended that I go to Good Feet. I took about 4 steps and started to cry. It was the first time that I had no pain. I'm not an actor. I want people to know, whether you're young or old, these are life-changing. I've tried the rest. The best is Good Feet. I'm ready to rock and roll, man. Let's go to the ballpark. We're going to Monster Jams. We're going camping. My attitude's changed. I'm a happier man. I'm like a regular dad now. The kids have seen that change and that confidence in dad, and they like the new dad.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerberg's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Let's talk real estate. The St. Louis market is tricky for home sellers, with home values going down and not selling as fast, right? Now is not the time to risk losing precious equity on your home. Hey, it's Mark Cox. That's why I always recommend you call Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria's the best. She's experienced every type of market, good and not so good. So before you list your home for sale, call Gloria. Here's why. Gloria Liu will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or she'll buy it, guaranteed in writing. She already has the buyers, thousands of them in her database. In fact, your home may already be sold. Gary and Angela called Gloria and sold their home even before it listed, because Gloria had several buyers looking for a home in that area. Call Gloria at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Talks between the U.S. and China. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. President Biden met with the leader of China today in Bali, Indonesia, for the first time as president. Speaking with reporters later, the president saying the two leaders discussed Taiwan, which China claims that is its own.
I do not think there's any imminent attempt on the part of China to invade Taiwan. And I made it clear that our policy on Taiwan has not changed at all.
The president says the U.S. will compete vigorously with China.
But I'm not looking for conflict. I'm looking to manage this competition responsibly.
Biden says he and Xi Jinping discussed Russia's aggression against Ukraine and agreed that the threat or the use of nuclear weapons is totally unacceptable. A White House national security official telling the Associated Press today that CIA Director Bill Burns met with his Russian intelligence counterpart in Ankara, Turkey. The talks expected to underscore the consequences if Russia were to deploy a nuclear weapon in Ukraine. The Supreme Court won't hear a case challenging a ban on bump stocks, attachments that make guns fire more rapidly.
After the Las Vegas Festival massacre in 2017, in which 60 people were killed and hundreds were injured, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms decided they should be banned. Several suits were filed. This one claimed bump stock owners should be compensated for the parts they had to give up. In another case, the Supreme Court declined to hear gun owners' argument that the ATF didn't have the regulatory authority to reclassify bump stocks.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Authorities in Charlottesville say Christopher Darnell Jones Jr., the suspect in the shooting at the University of Virginia that killed 3 members of the football team last night, has been taken into custody. 2 others were wounded in the shooting, which happened on a bus of students who were returning from an off-campus trip. Police today saying that the gunman was a student at the school. America's listening to Fox News.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather.
The official 97.1 FM Talk Weather Center forecast for the afternoon. Some clouds and sun, a breezy afternoon. High today 47. Clear and cold tonight, low 29. Partly sunny for tomorrow, the high only 38. And then clear and cold tomorrow night, low 25. Partly sunny Sunday, the high 42. And then for Monday, partly sunny and chilly with the daytime high 47. I'm Steve Williams for 97.1 FM Talk.
Recent impacts with inflation, ongoing COVID concerns, and geopolitical conflict have us all and the markets on edge. Heisey Advisory Group understands the importance of having a customized strategy for retirement, especially during uncertain times, to help ensure these concerns don't have an impact on your retirement. Heisey Advisory Group is a St. Louis-based, family-owned and operated holistic retirement planning firm. Our team has defined a process that puts together all the pieces of the financial puzzle, working with all of your service providers to help develop an individualized plan that grows with you as your life changes and your needs evolve. If you're not confident that your retirement plan is on track to deliver the lifestyle you want amid historic levels of uncertainty, call us today at 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Firm provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through A Wealth Management, LLC.
Don't miss the Big Night In, a movie and media event on November 17th from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Sound Room in Chesterfield. Be among the first to see the hottest home entertainment items for the holiday season and the year ahead. Hear from experts with the industry's premier manufacturers: Sony, Kaleidoscape, Epson, Paradigm, Anthem, Stewart Film Screen, Samsung, EPV Screens, and JL Audio. They'll lead demos and learning sessions. I'll even be there discussing the trends in media and how I experience all of this at home. Limited space is available. Reserve your spot today at thesoundroom.com. That's thesoundroom.com.
Sail with American Queen Voyages in North America's mighty rivers, Great Lakes, oceans, and expeditions to the wilds of Alaska. Call 844-744-0794 or contact your travel professional.
Tune into the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Filtering the BS pushed by the mainstream media.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I don't know whether we're technically in a recession. I know economists argue over that, and they have certain technical definitions. What I can tell you is the economy does not look great right now. Things are slowing down. You're seeing layoffs in many, many sectors of the economy. People are slowing down. The probabilities say if we're not in a recession right now, we're likely to be in one very soon. So my advice to people, whether they're small business owners or, is take some risk off the table. If you were going to make a purchase, maybe slow down that purchase a little bit. Keep some dry powder on hand. And wait a bit and see how. Try to reduce some risk in your business or your life.
Jeff Bezos giving some economic advice for people who, regardless of what you want to call it right now, recession or not, there are risks that you might want to mitigate for yourself. Jeff Bezos, he's got quite a successful business under his belt, and he sees it. I guess the rest of the United States is going to eventually notice it if they haven't already. I want to ask Stephen Moore about that. He's a distinguished fellow in economics at the Heritage Foundation with us each Monday. Stephen Moore, we haven't talked since the election. The election is ironically still taking place, and it doesn't look as though Republicans were able to connect the economic woes that we're experiencing right now with the party currently in power, at least not as much as we thought they would.
Well, there's a lot there to digest. And I'd say, Annie, first of all, the kind of thing that really is puzzling to people like me and you, I think, and most of your listeners is, I just saw a poll, some of the exit polling, 75% of the people who went to the polls and voted on Election Day, 3 out of 4 said the economy in the country is headed in the wrong direction. Now, think about that. That's a lot. That's more than when, Jimmy Carter ran against Ronald Reagan. And yet, even though 3 out of 4 Americans said the economy is headed in the wrong direction, they voted for the people who put the economy in the wrong direction. Mm-hmm. So explain that one to me. And so, I think some of the fault is Republican messaging. There's a lot of brand damage with the Republicans right now. But the fact is that this shouldn't have happened. It should have been what I had predicted on your show was going to be a correction election. We didn't have a correction election. Now, the thing that kind of scares me about this and remember, Annie, I said on your show, I'm not here to tell you Republicans are the solution to all our problems.
Right.
But, the fact is that when Joe Biden said he had a one-word answer last week that scared the pants off of me last week. He was asked, remember this? He was asked by a reporter, what are you going to do differently over the next 2 years? Yeah. Remember what he said?
Nothing.
That scares me.
Yeah.
Nothing. When we've got the economy, and I agree with Jeff Bezos. And he's not a conservative like I am. He's not an apologist for either party. He's just saying the economy is in big trouble. We're at risk of a financial crisis in this country. Rome is burning, and unfortunately, I think that people don't quite still, understand how much trouble we're in as a country. And if you get 2 more years of this, Annie, really?
Difficult.
It is going to cause another Great Depression. So I hope that Joe Biden would change, but I think the Democrats are sort of learning all the wrong lessons here. This was, I think, a lot of voters voted on issues like abortion, and they just didn't like the Republican Trump candidates. But how do you like these Democrats?
Yeah, apparently they like them more than they like the Republican options in a lot of places where we didn't expect that to happen. We're speaking with Steve Moore with Heritage Foundation. I want to know what the Republican message on economics needs to be, because there's a difference between voting for a Republican to stop a Biden agenda and the next time people are going to have the opportunity to cast ballots to change the whole lay of the land with a Republican president potentially and Republican members in the House and the Senate. What should the Republican message on the economy be?
Well, first of all, I don't want to be too pessimistic here because, did you know that more people voted Republican than Democrat in this election?
Yeah.
By about 3 percentage points. So Republicans still have the advantage. Now, here's the way I put it, Annie, and I wonder what you think about this. We as conservatives, and I'm not going to presume everybody's Republican because you can be a conservative without being a Republican, but we as conservatives and mostly Republicans, we do policy really well, right? We do policy. But what we learned in this election is the Democrats do politics.
Oh, man. Yes. Amen.
We do policy. They do politics. And I hate to say it, they're better at politics than we are.
Yes.
They outsmarted us, and they ran great. I got to tip my hat to them. They had a losing hand, and they somehow won with a losing hand. That's amazing. I wish we had the capacity to do that. So what do Republicans need to do? They need to talk about how a lot of people said that they thought the economy's in the wrong direction. But you know what, Annie? They also said, I don't think that, the Republicans are going to make any difference. And so we have to show that we have a growth agenda, that we're going to put America first, that we're going to put jobs first, that we're going to put American energy first, that we're going to bring down the debt, all of these things, that we're going to improve the schools, we're going to improve the border, we're going to improve the crime. And we have to have an agenda that is credible to people that will make a difference. And incidentally, there were 2 states that went really, really, really red this year compared to what they normally do. Do you know what those 2 states were?
Florida and Ohio?
No, well, Ohio is third. Ohio, you're right. There's actually 3 states. So Florida, Ohio, but I bet you won't guess which the third one was. New York. New York.
Yeah.
Now, New York is a 70% Democratic state, but you had a great, great Republican candidate in Lee Zeldin. Now, he did not win, but he came within 5 points, which is like a miracle in New York. Now, the reason I say that, you know what? He pulled over the goal line. If it were not for Lee Zeldin, Nancy Pelosi would still be Speaker. He pulled over the goal line 4 Republicans in New York.
Right.
In New York, that's the only state we really flipped seats in was New York. Now, why did that happen? because of crime, because of taxes. People realized in New York things are out of control. Now, they still reelected this big bad governor, Kathy Hochul, but usually they win by 20 points and they only won by 5 points. So my point is, when people start to realize how bad things can get, then I think you'll see some change in voting behavior. And I do worry about 2023. I think my advice to people is exactly what Jeff Bezos said: be very careful about your investing. Stop running up your credit card, folks. Have you seen the numbers on credit card debt, Annie? It's really scary. People are borrowing like crazy. If you lose your job or, something like that, and you can't count on it in this kind of precarious economy, you don't want to have a huge credit card debt on your back.
That's for sure. So there are a lot of things that people are going to need to be paying attention to in the coming years that maybe they hadn't had to previously. We're speaking with Steve Moore, Distinguished Fellow in Economics at the Heritage Foundation. One of the things that you mentioned in what the Republicans are going to have to do, the politics is the part where the Republicans have a ton of ground to make up on the Democrats. And one of those conservative messages really does need to be smaller government. And the only way to get to smaller government is to cut spending. You talked about reducing the debt. How do you marry that important message for the future of our country with good politics?
Well, I would say definitely smaller government, but more responsible government. I think that even we have a government. How many times have you and I talked about the massive fraud in the unemployment program and in the Medicaid program? All these, we can stop the waste and the fraud and start investigating what happened to that money. And then let's get back to issues of rewarding people for work. We believe, you and I, in a safety net, but you can't pay people more money for not working than working. Those kinds of things have to be the message, and I think they will be for 2024. And, look, I think Trump has really hurt himself with some of his antics lately and his tweets, but we'll have a very robust primary session. In coming up for the 2024, we got a lot. And one last thing, Annie, and then I got to run. We have great governors. We have great Republican governors. I think that's where we should look for our next president. I'm not counting Trump out, but you look at the DeSantises and you look at governors like Kim Reynolds of Iowa, and you look at Abbott in Texas. They know how to govern and they know how to fix the country. Anyway, I wish I had better news, but there is one piece of good news, and then I'm going to sign off. Yes, it is official that Nancy Pelosi is no longer Speaker of the House.
Oh, that is such a good piece of news. Seymour, we're going to let you go. Thank you for giving us some of your time today. We always look forward to our conversations.
Okay, take care, Eddie. Have a great week.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. I'm looking right now. They haven't made a change in the predictions yet, have they?
I haven't seen anything yet. I feel like Fox News would have been plastering it all
I
over
really hope that becomes news shortly. Fox News still says 212 Republican seats. But as I said before, there's nobody out there who's suggesting that the Democrats are going to retain majority.
Everything that I've seen has said that the path forward is very, very narrow.
There are 19 seats that are left to be called, 212 Republicans, 204 Democrats. You need 218 for the majority. Republicans are winning in 9 of the seats right now of those 19. And they need 6 they need 6 of the 9 that they have right now to stick. And that would mean that none of the other ones would flip either.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Leno reveals he was injured in a gasoline fire. That's sad.
Oh, no.
He's been taken to have emergency services. I'll just read to you from Fox News. Jay Leno suffered a serious medical emergency which forced him to cancel an appearance in Las Vegas over the weekend. Leno said in a statement to Variety, quote, "I got some serious burns from a gasoline fire. I am okay. Just need a week or 2 to get back on my feet." The former late-night host was scheduled to perform at a financial summit on Sunday, according to People. Quote, his family was not able to provide us very many details, but there was a very serious medical emergency that is preventing Jay from traveling. So he's doing okay. Quote, "All we know is that he is alive, so our prayers go out to him and his family tonight." Prayers for Jay Leno.
Mm-hmm.
Seems as though he's recovering. So we don't have any, can you see if maybe the morning show got stuff from Saturday Night Live? We didn't get any.
Yeah, I'll check.
I watched the entire monologue from Dave Chappelle on Saturday Night Live. I think you should watch it. It's classic Chappelle. He talks a lot about Kanye West. He talks about Donald Trump. He talks about Republicans. He talks about Democrats. He talks about midterms. He talks about the election. And listening to him connect all these things in this monologue is incredibly entertaining. But he also says some important things. And he talks about how he lives in Ohio and how people in New York are saying, oh, the Trump era is over. And he's like, of course you would think that in New York. But he lives in Ohio, and amongst what he refers to as the poor whites. And he talks about how Donald Trump spoke in a way that nobody had ever spoken in politics before. And it's a really, really interesting way that he put it. And I agreed with him. I agreed with a lot of what he said in that stand-up. So we'll see if we can get that. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, more Annie Frey Show, including we'll talk a wee bit. I'm going to pick Brad's brain a little bit on this YouTube live chat poll. Cautiously approaching this poll. Should we be having the Trump DeSantis 2024 discussion? Here are your three options. Yes, or yes, but after the Georgia runoff, or no. Annie Frey YouTube channel. Go in the live chat and vote for one of those three options, and then you can comment if you so choose as to why you voted the way you did, and Brad and I will discuss it when we come back. A little bit. Like I said, don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
With special guests Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann.
And then I just realized that it was Keith, myself, Mike McQuaid, Ed Schimmel, and that was it against management there because, in their words, we don't want another Chris Berman.
That's the last thing you'd want. Somebody completely successful who's recognized everywhere and put your network on the map. And the, $75 million a year to make you in profit. Well, you don't want that.
Download and subscribe to Hey Maine, available on the Odyssey app and everywhere you get your podcasts.
So if you didn't hear it on Friday, we had two of the doctors, the dentists from Foley Dental Group in studio here with us, Dr. Foley and Dr. Costin, two of the many great dentists that they have at Foley Dental Group, waiting to take your phone call. They are taking new patients. Call 618-288-9670. That's 618-288-9670, a brand new location at 270 and 159. Incredibly simple to get to from wherever you are going because you are seeking out the very best in dental care. They work with implants and dentures. They have a dedicated experienced doctors that focus entirely on the best way to replace your missing teeth. You can trust the people at Foley Dental Group to navigate this situation with you in a way that is going to make you thrilled after the fact. Doctors Amran and Hanser dedicate their practice at Foley Dental Group to restoring your smile and chewing abilities for those who have lost teeth prematurely. If this is you, reach out to Foley Dental Group for a solution today. If you have sleep disordered breathing, for adults and children, if you are looking for basic dental care and hygienics, you can go to Foley Dental Group and get scheduled right away. 618-288-9670, online at FoleyDentalGroup.com.
Rare and colorful gemstones formed in the earth. Expert hands selecting only the best. Designers creating jewelry inspired by each stone's uniqueness. At Shane Company, we're passionate about gemstones. We have holiday gifts with a full spectrum of natural, colorful gemstones. Peach morganite, tanzanite, London blue topaz, red garnet, and more. Throughout the year, Tom Shane travels to Bangkok, the gemstone capital of the world, to handpick the best rubies and over a dozen colors of sapphires. He then has the stones expertly cut to bring out their brilliance and beauty. Our stunning gemstone jewelry makes a magical gift. We're open 7 days a week, so come in, meet with one of our friendly jewelry consultants and leave with a beautiful gift, or get fast and free shipping when you order online. Your gift will be treasured forever.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
We've been here 30 years.
30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Man, what a great party you're throwing here. This wasp nest is great.
Yeah, man, we got about 70 wasps in here. It's one in, one out.
Too bad we can't fit any more wasps in here. It looks like they're having fun outside, stinging all the kids. Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out, so please visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
If you're a fan of 97.1, get a t-shirt. Visit 971talk.com/merch to see all the new t-shirt designs and show your support for St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Hey girl, is he everything you wanted in me?
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Brad, I'm looking at my show sheet, and I don't know how to play any of the sound without, making a statement. There are so many people who are weighing in on this whole, basically responding to what Trump is putting out there to be discussed. And people can choose to talk about it. People can not choose to talk about it. Some are choosing to weigh in. So today's YouTube live chat poll, something that Brad and I have been discussing off air before it kind of even amounted to what it is today, is... should we be having the Trump-DeSantis 2024 discussion? You have three options. Yes, but after the Georgia runoff, or no. So, I host this radio show here. What we talk about in every segment is up to me to determine. I take all of the hard work that Brad and Hannah put in each every day to give me the rundown of what the big quotes are and the big sound bites are, and we put the show together, but we get to choose. Yeah. Nobody is here saying, Brad and Annie, you need to make sure that you cover this, this, and this. And by the way, we're this position on this guy and that position on that guy.
Right.
That doesn't happen ever at all in any circumstance. The question about what to do about where Donald Trump has really taken this conversation and pushed this into the forefront. Donald Trump has attacked Ron DeSantis. He's attacked Governor Northam in Virginia. I don't know, has he attacked anybody else in the meantime?
I don't think so.
Those are the two that stick out.
Those are the two big ones, yeah.
DeSantis or Northam, neither one of them has ever expressed that they intend to run for president.
Nope.
At all, really, ever. They've never actually, unless I'm missing it, neither one of them have ever said that they hope to be the president one day. People speculate around them. Mm-hmm. Why? Well, because people want them to be the president.
Because they think they would do a good job.
Sure. I think they both would, I guess. I don't know enough about Northam. I know that he won in a tough-to-win area. It'll be interesting to see how his 4 years amount. He's just barely done 1 year. I don't even think he's finished 1 year.
Right.
It was his election was this time last year. He was sworn in at the beginning of 22. So, by virtue of Donald Trump making these statements, the conversation is out there to be had. He's making a big announcement for Mar-a-Lago tomorrow. I haven't heard that there's any difference in that plan, correct?
No, I think actually the only thing I've heard is it's scheduled as planned.
Yes. So November 15th, he announced this before the election that he would be making a big announcement on November 15th, which I have always said that I always hoped that his announcement would be have a huge rally in Florida and have everybody there. And right when you think he's going to announce that he's going to be the president, he announces that he's supporting Ron DeSantis. I don't think that that is going to happen.
No, unfortunately not.
Is it productive to have this conversation in democracy, in a government structure that we live in right now? You have to have the tough conversations in order to have the right man or woman for the job, go through the gauntlet and come out stronger and resilient so that they can beat the guy on or girl on the other side of the aisle who also wants to be the president. So you can't say that it's going to be easy. You can't expect it to be easy. It's not comfortable. Primary seasons are icky and ugly. Somehow or another, we always end up moving past them. Donald Trump was very happy for his great friend Marco Rubio. Little Marco. Politics is weird like that. Donald Trump is the one who's trying to make this an issue right now to discuss.
Yes.
I personally am not the type of person who likes to follow the news media and have somebody put something out there to be discussed and then just say how high when they say jump and to discuss.
Yeah, I understand that.
I don't. I'm actually allergic to that.
That makes a lot of sense.
I have to question myself when I am repelled by that to make sure that I'm not being irresponsible by not talking about it. Realistically speaking, does discussing this issue on the Annie Frey Show in St. Louis, Missouri affect the Georgia runoff? Probably not. I'd flatter myself to think that it would even, affect it in an ounce of matter. So what is one to do about it? If I don't think that it's productive to discuss it, I don't know that right now there is a discussion that has a conclusion. And if there's no discussion to be had right now regarding the elephant that Donald Trump has spotlighted in the room, if there's no obvious conclusion to be drawn, and this encouraged me forcing you, in theory, to pick a side, I tend to think that you're not going to pick a side. You're going to turn this off and turn KZK on and listen to Christmas music, which is what I would do. So the YouTube live chat poll question today, which I would love for you to go vote in, and I would love to get an honest assessment from you, how you feel about this issue. It's not really so much about how you feel the result of the issue. It's about the discussion and the presence of the discussion right now at this point in the timeline. What should happen? What do you think?
I go back and forth on this. I'm really looking at the Georgia election. I think the less Trump, the better chances Herschel Walker has. I don't, especially looking at how well Governor Kemp did, who was...
Is Kemp his best asset?
Walker's? In Georgia? Yes, absolutely. I mean, the numbers don't lie. Kemp thumped Stacey Abrams. I mean, that wasn't even close. And so the best thing that Herschel Walker can do is align himself with Kemp. But because Herschel Walker was aligned with Trump because of the Trump endorsement and that sort of thing, you saw that Herschel Walker didn't win. I mean, he went to a runoff. Warnock pulled ahead. But he didn't win. He pulled ahead at the very end. So the question is do those, I forget if it was like 8% or 6% people who voted for the Libertarian candidate? 2%.
2%.
Do they?
Walker got 48%. Warnock got 49%. And this guy got the remainder 2-point-something%.
So do those voters swing to Walker because they like what Walker would bring to it?
Does everybody who voted the first time show up to vote the second time?
Right. That's, there's a ton of questions there. I think that if Georgia does not seem like a Trump-friendly state. There's probably a huge contingent of Trump supporters in Georgia. But ultimately, if you want to win Georgia, you've got to be...
Broader than that.
Broader than that. Absolutely.
It has to include Trump, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I'm sure that there were Trump voters that came out to support Kemp. Yeah. I mean, there's no way he wins by that margin if they don't. But you can't be Trump only. And so my question is does Donald Trump, and my thoughts are Donald Trump sitting this out probably helps Walker, and I would rather him not speak. But the other part of me is we're
sitting out what? Because right now we're talking about the discussion.
Yeah.
Like you're advocating for him to knock it off.
Yeah, let's let this happen until George is done.
But I'm saying, what do we do about it? Because you and I both know.
Yeah.
Donald Trump going to Donald Trump.
He's going to Donald Trump. And my thoughts on that are, while I would rather him do that, we're going to have this conversation at some point. So what difference does it make what time we have it? Because we're not going to be able to never have this conversation. And if Donald Trump wants to have this conversation now, all right, let's have this conversation. So should we talk about it? I think we should, because
You're a yes.
Yeah, we're going to have the conversation eventually. I don't like it. I don't want it to be, but he's going to push the issue.
I'm trying to poll the person who wrote this poll and say, can we have a D, none of the above? But I wrote the question. So the answer is no, Annie, you cannot. Because my position on this is just wait, Trump. Like you were saying, just give us a minute and then we can sling if that's what needs to happen. And I am not somebody who, I'm going to read this tweet. I got to find this. I think that a lot of people have a position on President Trump. And I think that more people now have a fluid position on President Trump than ever have before. And I think that the majority of people who have ever supported Trump or who support Trump right now, I feel like they all of those people really, really want to continue supporting Donald Trump. That the urge and the urgency is to be for Donald Trump. And when you observe his actions in this past week, Lord knows what's going to happen tomorrow, and you see how he's talking and the issues that he's forcing a discussion on, that makes people have to kind of reassess something that I think that people are really trying hard to just not think about right now. There is an industry of people who are very adamant that you are being made to like somebody other than Trump in a way that is not in your best interest. And I have an equal aversion to that to suggest that any affection that I would have for Governor Northam or Governor DeSantis or Governor Abbott or Governor Noem or any other candidate that might run, but especially Ron DeSantis. I am very not cool with the suggestion that I like him because somebody is telling me to like him. Back off.
Yeah.
Because I've been here. I've been doing this. I've been saying this. And while I do believe that a lot of public opinion is coerced and collaborative with different people and different institutions, the left certainly does this with their access to the media, that there is a narrative that is established and then it's tried out on the people to see how they can lead you to come to a conclusion. I have very specific reasons why I like Ron DeSantis, and those reasons why I like Ron DeSantis have absolutely zero bearing on how I feel about Donald Trump. They are separate issues. And for you, likely, your ability to love Donald Trump, to want to see him be the president again, to want to see him succeed, to want him to take the White House back, I would assume that your thoughts and affection and loyalty, if you will, which is a word that I don't really love when it comes to talking about politicians because they work for us, they should be loyal to us. Your affinity for Donald Trump, I hope, is a completely separate issue and discussion than your affinity for Ron DeSantis or Governor Northam. And the idea that I think absolutely the idea exists that many people could be really happy with the thought of a 2024 Trump presidency and be super eager for a 2028 DeSantis presidency. Those should be issues that you can mutually hold with zero conflict.
Mm-hmm.
President Trump's comments are making it harder for people to keep those things separate because he's conflating the two, the support for Donald Trump versus the support for Ron DeSantis. He's pitting that against one another, which, from where I sit, is a super Trumpian thing to do, and this is not new information. Like, the idea that he would be doing this does not make me go, how dare he? How could he possibly? Like, this is what he does. This is who he is. I get it. I know this part of him. This is not shocking information to me, and I'm not going to take it personally. It's more of the timing of the issue. Like, if they want to sling it out in a primary and that needs to start, like, as soon as the election is over after December 6th. Start then. I think there are very few people who actually truly feel like you can only support one, Trump or DeSantis. Those are the two main ones. Northam has been recently brought in by Donald Trump as well. Northam? Oh, Youngkin. Yeah, Northam's, is he the one who lost?
He's the one that lost.
I keep saying the wrong one. Glenn Youngkin. That's right. That's why I couldn't remember what Northam's first name is. Thank you. Donald Trump can go ahead and criticize Northam. That's worthy. Sorry, Glenn Youngkin. I really want you, as a listener, to understand that our job here on this show, as I see it, and nobody has told me differently, ever, is to bring you the information that you are wanting to know, to position it in a way that you know how I think on it and how I feel about it, but then for you to formulate your own position and thoughts on the issue. I want to read to you Christian's tweets to me because I found this to be interesting. And it was essentially me putting out there a like vomiting emoji after they called, I guess Nevada was the second. That was 50, right?
Yep.
And there was a reply on my Twitter from a listener, Christian, and he said, Trumpism is so great, isn't it? Nope. And I just replied, one of us seems to be obsessed with former President Trump. Because all I tweeted was an emoji with the I'm about to puke face. Christian said, he's just not the way. Being anything but anti-Trump is in effect pro-Trump. To which my response is, which am I? Christian's response to me is respectfully, guess I'm asking that. Your show and cast is great. He goes on to say, leading a charge of, quote, we can do better than Trump sounds like such a better tactic than a, quote, wait and see sort of thing. I want you to understand this, no matter where this conversation goes in the future. My responsibility here, I don't view it as leading a charge. I do not have that kind of power. I know that I have a platform and I have a very large voice. But you need to understand that when I get behind this microphone every day, I don't look at it as how I'm going to lead you to think and act in a specific way. Many people in this profession do see it that way, and there's nothing wrong if that's the way they see their responsibility behind a microphone, because their listeners grow to expect that from them. To Christian, I would say, I'm flattered that you're not 100% sure if I'm pro-Trump or anti-Trump. Because the truth is what I said, I'll go back to the beginning of the show. I do not find my identity in these politicians. I want these politicians to find their identity in me. Because when they go to represent me in the Oval Office or in Springfield, Illinois, or in St. Louis County or in St. Louis City that I pay taxes to, if they are there hoping that I find my allegiance with them and the brand that they've created, that is inverted. If their cause aligns with my cause, they have my support. But we need to get back to the place where celebrity status that comes along with being an elected official does not blind these elected officials to represent us. I don't know how that answers today's YouTube live chat poll question for you or even for me. But the reason why I have at this point, and kind of feel like I want to continue to do so, to keep this Trump-DeSantis discussion at an arm's length, not out of reach. I'm paying attention to it. What I pay attention to in my own private time and in my own personal interests is different than what I represent on the show because I care about you. And my interests may be different than yours. I do not want to throw gasoline on the fire of this personality politics thing, whether it's for my guy or against my guy. And if you don't know who my guy is right now, I'm okay with that. Let's get the results when we come back and see what you people, capital Y, capital P, what you people think. On the YouTube live chat poll, should we be having the Trump-DeSantis 2024 discussion? Yes, but after the Georgia runoff, or no? I'd love to know what you think about it. So make sure you go give us your vote and steer me in the direction that you would like to hear this show go, and I'll consider it. And maybe loosen the reins a little bit on my aversion to being, told jump and sit here and say, how high, sir, how high? I just don't like it. Let's get the results and a little positive news with Miss Hannah when she comes back in the studio here in just a second. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Government is hiring 87,000 new IRS enforcement agents. Make no mistake, with spending out of control, they're looking to collect revenue. The first target will be you. If you have not paid your taxes or filed them in years, let me help you get that target off your back. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. So if you have unfiled returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
So ear, nose, and throat issues really start to creep up this time of year, and I have the people for you to make sure that you're not dealing with something and suffering through something you don't have to. Gateway ENT. These doctors, and there are a bunch of them at Gateway ENT, are part of one of the oldest private practices in St. Louis. They are experienced, they are established, and they are pretty easy to get into. You can call 314-843-3828. That's 314-843-3828. Multiple members of the Annie Frey Show staff or family have gone to Gateway ENT to get issues taken care of, and we're incredibly satisfied. And when I have an issue, I trust Dr. Hardiman specifically, who I've contacted about medical issues. I trust his guidance and his friends and his coworkers, the doctors that work with him at Gateway ENT. I trust them equally. Reach out to them. People of all ages, kids through senior citizens, of course. You can get in pretty quickly at Gateway ENT. And remember, you are at the center of their practice. They're not connected to any big hospital system that causes them to have to refer this, that, and the other place. You are at the center of what they are providing as far as care goes, and you can reach out to them at 314-843-3828. You can find them online as well at gatewaydrs.com.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AAMCO.
Miss, missed you this morning. Kim told me you weren't feeling well, so I'm just doing a self-care check.
Oh, thank you, friend.
How you doing?
Girl, listen, my energy was so low because I didn't eat breakfast when I got up, so I had to miss virtual yoga with y'all.
Trust me, I understand.
But I'm doing much better now that I've eaten, so I'm back on track.
Great. In that case, let's get some steps in tonight. I'll come over and we can walk around the lake.
Sounds good. Appreciate you being in my business, too. Now, let me get in yours. Did you check your blood pressure today?
I did that and my squats, okay?
Okay.
High blood pressure is not going to be my friend if I can help it. See you at 6?
Let's get it. See you then.
Now more than ever, it's important that we protect our hearts and the hearts of those we love. Check in on one another and be a part of a healthy blood pressure movement. Rally your squad to take the online pledge at releasethepressure.org. Brought to you by the Release the Pressure Coalition and the Ad Council.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuyshomeStLouis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. And check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Chris Buys Homes in St. or call 314-782-8000.
The holidays are fast approaching, and it's the best time to call Zero Res. Book now and save before the holiday rush. Get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $129 and a free room of fiber protected for an $80 savings. Call 314-474-2020 or online ZeroResSTL.com. Tell them that I sent you.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling and Insulation Studio. Make sure your furnace is ready to safely heat your home this fall. For heating service, repairs, or a new HVAC system, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
It's a quick random fact. Statistically speaking, drivers age 60 to 69 have the lowest rates of car crashes.
It's that sweet spot. I don't know why. That's interesting, though.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're going to get to the results of our YouTube live chat poll here in a second. If you haven't had a chance to go vote, you got to hurry up and get there. The Annie Frey YouTube channel. Should we be having the Trump-DeSantis 2024 discussion? You've got 3 options. Yes, but after the Georgia runoff, or no. Go vote and leave us a comment as to why Hannah's going to highlight them here in just a second. Let's get to some good news.
The Diamond in the Rough. Brought to you by The Diamond Shop. TheDiamondShop.net.
Hannah, tell us something good.
All right. A Florida Chick-fil-A celebrates a longtime customer's 104th birthday.
Oh.
For the 6th year in a row, a Florida Chick-fil-A, Oldsmar, Florida, celebrated the birthday of a longtime customer who has been going to the restaurant on a regular basis for 20 years. He has sat in the same booth, ordered the same breakfast, and read the morning paper during his daily visits. He is described as one of the sweetest, most genuine, kind, and humble people we've had the pleasure to know. Chick-fil-A joke, pleasure. By the restaurant employees, many of whom have developed a special relationship with him over the years. When he turned 100, the location said it went big by dedicating a booth to Mr. Steve and gifting him free Chick-fil-A for life. The celebration resulted in national news attention and the opportunity for Mr. Steve to film a Chick-fil-A commercial in New York City. In 2020, for Mr. Steve's 102nd birthday, the Chick-fil-A members showed up and dressed and got all ready, and they went to his house. And then in 2021, for his 103rd birthday, they went and they opened their dining room for the first time just so Mr. Steve could celebrate his birthday. And then recently, on November 8th, he turned 104, and they said that they couldn't help but feel immensely grateful for the opportunity to return even a portion of the love that he shares with our team and for the bond that we've been able to build with him over the past 6 years.
How old do you want to live to be, Brad?
How old do I want to live to be?
Yeah.
I don't know. 100 sounds good.
100?
Yeah. And I hope that I can have 100 years old like this man, where, you get up in the morning and you go to a place and you have some breakfast and read the newspaper. It just sounds so relaxing.
I wonder when he retired. Because I always think about people who live to be 100, 104.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you retire when you were... Could those folks retire in their 50s? Did Social Security start that early? I mean, it always inched, 60, 62,
I always
65,
thought it was,
67, 70.
I always thought it was in the 60s, and I think a lot of people also had like pensions and stuff like that.
Yeah, you just wonder when they were able to
onto it.
retire. If you retired at 60, I mean, that's a lot of years not working.
It's like 40 years.
That's pretty sweet.
That's amazing.
Hope you had a good retirement system. Let's get to the YouTube live chat poll.
All right, the poll is asking today, should we be having the Trump-DeSantis 2024 discussion? Yes, but after the Georgia runoff, or no. With over 225 votes, 33% of the people say no, we shouldn't be having the Trump-DeSantis 2024 conversation. 44% say yes, but after the Georgia runoff, 23% say yes, we should be having it.
It's pretty divided.
So that is pretty divided. Once again, 44% say that we should be having it, but after the Georgia runoff, 34% say no, we shouldn't be having it, and 23% say yes, we should be having it. Comments?
Yeah.
Brad Williams from YouTube said, no, I feel like everybody's getting Trump fatigue. It's like talking about next Christmas the day after Christmas. Katie Matthews said, I voted no because I want to wait until they announce their intention to run. Scotty P from Twitch said the whole Trump-DeSantis thing must be held off. Benjamin Bravo said, yes, now we should be having the conversation. It's going to take a long time to figure it out. Sorry. Mike Forrest from YouTube said, I voted wait until after the Georgia runoff. And then he said, honestly, what is there to discuss? I guess we could speculate why Trump is throwing mud at DeSantis so soon, ego aside. More comments are coming in. SR said, no, I don't like being forced to have an opinion on something I don't have an opinion on. I do better when I can research and have time to think about, but the world is too impatient for that. Karen said, I voted no because there are so many people that hate Trump that they vote for anyone who is running against him. Diane said no because DeSantis had made no notice for any intention for 24, so we may be spinning a narrative that might not happen at all.
Do you think, Brad, that Ron DeSantis is absolutely running in 2024?
No, I'm not 100% on that.
I'm not either.
I'm probably about 85.
That he is?
That he is, but I'm not 100%.
I don't know that running it. People say 2028 would be wide open if Trump were to run. First of all, Trump has to win.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that that's a foregone conclusion. But let's say that Trump runs in 2024, gets the nomination, and wins. I don't know that sets Ron DeSantis up for a great opportunity in 2028.
Well, the way things been going, the way the pendulum swings, people might be like, all right, enough of this, and they're ready for a Democrat.
If Trump runs in 2024 and gets the nomination and loses to who? Oh, man, that's a terrifying thought to think, like, is Joe Biden running again? Is it a Trump-Biden rematch? If Trump loses to Biden, to Kamala, to Gavin Newsom, and you think about all those possibilities, then the Democrat will be an incumbent in 2028, and Ron DeSantis could run then, or Glenn Youngkin, or whomever. There are a lot of different scenarios that could shape up. And, if Ron DeSantis chooses not to throw his hat in the ring against Trump in this primary, what happens if Youngkin does and Youngkin wins the primary? Is DeSantis going to be going, what in the world did I not do? Man, I don't know. But good point to people who are commenting, yeah, we don't even know if he's running yet, but Trump's trying to head him off from even putting his hat in the ring. Thank you for voting in the YouTube live chat poll today. Stick around because the Mark Reardon Show is going to pick up right here on 97.1 FM Talk, where we leave off. Don't go away.
From me, I'm back to doing